Hello, good evening, and welcome. You are live tuned in to the most amazing program that's on the internet or on any broadcasting channel of any description, because we give freedom of speech here. And the Inview is all about your view. And of course, your view is very much about the guests we have on the show as well. And we have got a plethora of guests again tonight, which are here to give you their idea, their opinions, their understanding, their beliefs, and everything else. This is a completely open forum for everyone and anyone to come on to talk about absolutely anything. There is a change to what was advertised on the show. We've mixed it up a little bit tonight. We have got at 7:30 tonight, we got the amazing Grant Hicks. Came on the show first time some weeks ago now. Grant Hicks is a very spiritual being, wants to make the most out of life. He's immensely spiritual. He's got his own spiritual group on Facebook and everything. He's a really down-to-earth, very, very well-spoken and immensely truth-seeking idealism as well. He's on at 7:30 tonight. Now, we have got Melanie Kelloway, but she won't be on to 8:30 tonight, unfortunately, but she is coming on, which is great. And Melanie Kelloway is spiritual psychic medium, Reiki healer, and a truth speaker as well. So I really look forward to speaking to both of them. Now, what we're going to do is something slightly different. Grant don't know this yet, but I'm sure he's listening and wouldn't mind. But the fact is, 7:30 tonight. Hello, Gemma. Great to have you on board. Hello, Kath. How are you? Great to have you on board as well. You are on the Inview bus and we're heading for the truth. That's what we're doing. I'll try not to lose my rag tonight, but I've got some things to talk to you about, which is highly likely I will, to be honest. One of the things we're doing different tonight, we got Grant on at 7:30. He's here till 8:30, actually. He doesn't know that yet. But what we're going to do is from 7:30 to 8, we are going to be obviously discussing and talking about Grant, what he does and everything. And we carry on doing that a bit after 8 o'clock. But 8 o'clock to 8:30 until Melanie's on, myself and Grant are going to be here for your questions. Whatever you have, any worries, queries, anxieties, your questions about anything and everything, basically. And two things that we will discuss in that half an hour from 8 o'clock to 8:30 is we are going to talk about fear and we're going to talk about love. Fear and love. Sometimes some people say they're very mixed or merged together, but they're not in lots of ways. So we're gonna have a theme of that in the portion between 8 and 8:30 with Grant and myself talking about that, and yourselves joining in with any comments or anything else that you'd like to say. One of the things I like to say also is the fact on the Inview, this is your show. So please, if you have any questions, if you have anything that you want answered, or you want to comment on anything, I try and read out everyone's comments on this show. So it's not just about what the guests say, it is also about what you say, and we put it to the guests and we get their understanding and everything with it. And we have got Carol Ann Townsend. Hello, how are you? Welcome along to the Inview weekly, 7 to whenever, it could be 9:30 or whatever, but it's great to have you on board. Haven't seen that person for a very, very long time. Hello, Jason. McCusbro's joined us. How are you? All the way over in Hampshire, no doubt. And of course, as I said before, slightly changed from the original schedule. We have got Grant Hicks coming on at 7:30. He's here to 8:30, but at 8 o'clock tonight, we have a question and answer. So if you've got a question about anything, please pose it to us. And me and Grant will try and answer them. Put your comments on the comments box. But we're also going to be looking at fear and love in that half an hour, 8 to 8:30 as well. So, and then after that, after 8:30, probably about 9 o'clock tonight, we will have a new guest that's never been on the show before, the amazing Dick Weener, who's a window cleaner. So I don't know, he's looking at life through a new pane of glass, I think. That's what I feel. I don't know. But welcome to all of you on the show tonight. And it is your show, remember, so you can put any comments on anytime you like. Please share this to as many people as you want. This is a show like no one has ever seen before, because we speak the truth on here. And believe me, we really do. when it comes to some of the stories I've got this week. So in 25 minutes, we have got Grant Hicks. But in between now and then, I'm going to give you a rundown on some of the news stories. And I've got Nigel here with me. Hello, Nigel. How are you? Yes, he's very well. He's just been down from Venus. If you remember last week, I had lights all around my head because I was plugged in to go there. It's a very interesting place to go. Obviously, we are going to talk about COVID. It's on everyone's lips, isn't it? But my God, aren't we all bloody cheesed off with it? Do you know what I mean? We're absolutely sick to death of hearing about it. And, you know, I think people are drained, mentally, physically drained with talking about it. And it's flashed in front of your eyes on every screen, every television program. Hello, precious Raya. I hope I said that right. Who is listening all the way in Pakistan. Welcome to you, precious. So what we've got in this country going on at the moment is obviously there's no pubs open after 10 p.m., which are going to be a vote or whatever in Parliament in this country, I think this week. We've obviously got Mr. Boris Plank on television tomorrow telling everyone where he's going to bring in, obviously, one of Dominic Cummings, who really runs the government, that Plank. Well, I wouldn't go as far as Plank. He wants actually horsewhipping down the House of Parliament, basically. He came up with the amazing idea that we're going to have a red, amber and green to make it easier for us all to understand what's really going on in this country. The problem is they make it so complicated. They don't want you to understand it. But we do know in the North, they're suffering badly. Now, remember, in the North, this is where the Tory government got all their votes from the Labour Party. And obviously, that's going to cause a lot of ructions because there's a lot of people up in arms in what's going on in the North and everywhere isn't going through it because of the heightened risk of people that are actually contracting it or dying of it or whatever. And it's terrible loss that we have lots of people going through that. But, you know, there's a lot of questions to be asked of, and I know that a lot of people don't agree with it. But the fact is that, you know, a lot of what we're in is a smokescreen to other things that the government are doing. And the fact is that they treat you with contempt. When I say they treat you with contempt, they're treating you absolutely disgracefully by actually insulting your intelligence. Now, you've all got to have a 10 p.m. and me curfew. We can't go to the pub. The House of Parliament, obviously, 17 bars there, where an average pint of beer is 50p because it's all subsidised. And obviously, you know, the MPs that go in there are only earning 85 grand a year. Not too much, is it? You know, and 50p pints of beer and subsidised food and everything. 17 bars in the House of Parliament. Not one of them shut at 10 p.m. But even worse than that, what's really got my goat this week is reading this, because this is really insulting. And, you know, we have got real poverty in this country with people that are sitting on the streets with nowhere to live. They may have had money. They may have had houses. They may have had broken relationships, but they're on the streets with nothing. And these people are being forgotten about. And while that all goes on, that's not just those people. They're all the people suffering with mental carnage at the moment with this absolute garbage of COVID that's going on at the moment. But the Commons pay chiefs have sparked fury by ploughing ahead with plans to hike stay-at-home MPs' salaries by more than £3,500. So they're actually going to give themselves a pay rise of £3,500 in this time when people are struggling, when there are people up and down the country haven't got a job anymore, where they are desecrating business, where they are destroying hospitality, where they don't want anyone to enjoy themselves. They don't want anyone to actually have any interconnection with anyone else. They want us all to be separated and living in little boxes in a prison. It would be next year's pay rise on October public sector year by year 3-month growth figure, but it would mean MPs, including the SNP, Commons COVID breaker, Margaret Ferrier. Of course, this was a politician decided. She's a politician in Scotland, decided that she had COVID. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get on a train and go London and stand the House of Parliament. Great idea, isn't it? What a stupid person. They get an extra £3,360 on top of £81,000 £81,932 salary. Can you believe that? What do you think about that? Do you think it's fair? I think it's an absolute load of bollocks, to be honest. And I think it's a shambolic thing to happen in this reality, that they even print something like that, that MPs that are privileged people that just do exactly what they want. Oh, they're just sitting in a bar in Parliament, just getting a 3,600 pay rise on top of their 81,000 they get already. And that's to stay at home. And that's without their expenses and their second homes and God knows what else. Do you know what I mean? It's disgusting. It really is. What else we got here? Northern mayors are threatened to sue Rishi Sunak over plans to force their cities into lockdown. Now, these three tiers are coming in. One is a medium risk, which is rate of 6, rule of 6, and social distancing. Then they're high risk, no households mixing in homes or gardens, no household mixing in hospitality setting, and the rule of 6 and social distancing. And then the very high risk, which is coming anyway, it's in Scotland, where pubs and leisure closed and curfews on restaurants and no social contact between households. You're going to see it tomorrow. You're going to see that Burke Boris stand up, basically reading Dominic Cummings' script. You know, where is all this? You know, stay safe, save the NHS. All that, it comes out of Dominic Cummings' mind. Do you know what I mean? We're led by fascists, if you hadn't realised that. You might not like it, but it's true. We are. What else we got here in the news? A postie says he's being terrorised on his rounds by a customer's sex-mad duck. Randy Pett, Bob, apparently this duck's called Bob, first waddled towards Steve Hines for some foul play, oh my God, in the garden as he delivered a letter on Saturday. The owners apologised to Steve with a peace offering, Crunchy bar, left on their gate, and a note revealing Bob attacks them too. He shared a snap of the letter, which reads, "He used to be lovely and cuddly. Now he's a vicious sex maniac. We have fenced him in and hopefully he won't escape." That has made the paper this week. Can you believe it? What a load of drivel. Gemma says, I saw a document yesterday that said from now on they are going to add the flu figures in which COVID-19 ones. Why? Well, actually, I've seen that document as well. That has been put out on social media and various outlets. And actually, that's what they are doing. But aren't they doing that anyway? And to be honest, and some people won't like it, the fact that, you know, in our reality, because we like to think that people do not lie, that there is no hidden agenda, when clearly there is massively. You know, everyone that's contracted, whatever they've got, they die of COVID. That's been proven in a lot of cases. It's happened, unfortunately, with outlying health issues and everything else. But, you know, I get very confused because on average, there's 650,000 people seasonally die of flu in this country. In not just England, but Wales, Scotland and Ireland. I know we've had more, but we've had a strain of something that we haven't had before. But it's like a flu-like illness. And, you know, me personally, my own personal opinion, and you know, I can go down with a lot of people. I'm a spiritual person. And I can tell you now, when this came out, I thought it was a load of rubbish. I really did. Don't feel it's real at all. And there's a lot of people out there that are starting to believe that. Because, you know, we are astonishingly, we are sheeple people. We're not. I'm not. And you listening are not. Because we're asking questions. Why do we have to wear a mask? Why do we have to do this? Why do we have to do that? Instead of, you know, if we went back 40 or 50 years ago, nobody would actually say anything. They would just do what they say. It's because the people that tell you what to do are lying bastards. That's why. Anyway, a driver. And this is another thing that winds me up in this reality immensely. A driver who left his Aston Martin, which cost thousands and thousands and thousands, on double yellows, got 4 parking tickets. And the note saying, he left a note on there saying, "I'm so rich, I park where I want." I'm so rich, I park where I want. Furious locals. One resident in Whitby, North York, said the driver received the first ticket on Friday, then on Saturday, and on Sunday, and you know, all he done is he just drove around the block and parked the car again. You know, this person don't care about me and you. All he cares about himself. Why do we live in a society where people are selfish and don't care? Why don't they care? Why are the mass so absorbed in their own selves and not looking out the window of their neighbor, of their friends, of their family, of all the people that mean something, or even the world? Why are there so many people closed off to the world in what's going on? Well, it's nothing to do with me, mate. I don't know anything about it. You know, it just amazes me. Gemma says more people are dying every day from cancer operation, non-diagnosis and treatment of cancer. Protect the NHS. How about protect the patients? I agree. Look, we have got a bow wave of cancer patients that have missed all appointments because they're saying we're so busy with COVID. These hospitals, a lot of them are empty and should be used for cancer patients and all of the other diseases that we have. And they should be going there regularly and they should be looked after. And nobody cares. They're just completely whitewashing it. And, you know, it's not just about cancer and heart disease and things like that. It's about mental illness. It's about mental illness of people who are on the edge anyway. People on the edge because they've been surviving, struggling to pay bills. They've been surviving and struggling to, you know, make something in their life. And then they find their job is basically not there or won't be there. And you've got a lot of people coming off a furlough very shortly. And then he brings out another fantastically moralistic scheme, which actually is so confusing again that nobody really understands what it is, and it won't help everyone, and it's going to be a lot less money. But what you've got to understand is these people are talking about to March next year. March next year they're talking about. It's disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. Another area, get away from the government. Let's talk about the royal family. A bunch of charlatans they are as well. The Queen has stopped selling Prince Andrew postcards to tourists. Well, I'm sure she wasn't personally out there selling them herself. Oh, I can't do that. It's far too dignified. Gift shop. Gift shop staff at Balmoral told visitors this week pictures of the scandal hit Duke have been taken off the shelves. One tourist told this newspaper previously Andrew postcards have been on sale, but while there are postcards of Charles, Anne and Edward, and even the Queen's grandchildren, Beatrice and Eugene, there is not one of the the Duke of York. When asked if it was possible to buy one of Andrew, a sales assistant said, "No, we've taken them away and we won't be making any more of them." Another said, "I'm afraid Andrew, is very much on the naughty step." He is on a naughty step. Excuse me if I'm wrong. Prince Andrew, scum of the earth person he is that you see on Panorama or whatever program it was, lying through his teeth, knows way, way more than he lets on. I don't know anything about this lady. I wasn't there. I didn't see it, even though he's got a picture taken with this person. No, I wasn't there. I was buying McDonald's. I was in Woking McDonald's getting a takeaway. What a load of crap. I mean, come on. You know, he is one of hundreds of people that are in the limelight and spotlight that have been playing very, very bad, soul damaging things to people underage. Absolutely disgraceful. And saying that, there's a picture underneath it, which is Ghislaine Maxwell posed at a fundraiser for girls fleeing sex traffickers before being arrested on suspicion of recruiting underage victims for paedophile Jeremy Epstein. The picture shows the British socialite at a 2013 drinks reception to stop the trafficking of people. Stop in New York. She posed next to a French ambassador and lots of other dignitaries. And This person said she got some nerve. She has got some nerve. Maxwell, 58. Don't know why they put age in. Is in jail accused of grooming girls as young as 14 for Epstein, who killed himself in prison last year. And she denies all the charges. Somebody better go and talk to her and find out what the hell's going on, because she has a book with loads of names in it. Are we going to have a whitewash? Is this going to be fudged? You know, we're living in a time where the truth will come out. The royal family are way too privileged. I'm not a royalist. Not a great fan of them, to be honest. Gemma says it's very hard to be positive about an uncertain future you aren't in control of. That's very true, because they don't want you to be in control. They don't want you to even think. They want you to be a sheep. And we aren't a sheep. And luckily, there are programs, and believe me, there isn't many. I don't think there's hardly any, to be honest, that's like this, which actually will tell you how it is, what I feel. You won't all agree with it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you do or not. The most important thing is to get people thinking. Stella Edmondson, hello, welcome along to the amazing Inview. Gemma says Andrew thinks he's untouchable, and that's because he is. His mother owns the Crown prosecution. Well, yeah, well, I can do what I like because he won't go to prison. And she says, I think G, that must mean Ghislaine, or whatever her name is, will be killed in prison. Well, we will see. I feel justice is going to be done here, because I do feel that we are coming to a time. I mean, the Queen, I mean, she must, you know, I know none of them are perfect. Even the Queen, Prince Philip, what a horrible man he is as well. All of them got blood in their hands from Princess Diana. We all know that. But they're not getting out of the limelight here at all. If anything, they're making it worse and worse and worse and worse. You know, a royal family that everyone looked up to and thought, this is a wonderful royal family. This is one that murdered Princess Diana. This is one with the damage that was done when Prince Charles just wanted his way with a horse called Camilla. And then we have all of this going on. There's been going on for years and years and years with Andrew. Years and years and years with all the other members of the royal family. You know, it's only recently that it was shown that there was at least 30 people arrested in Buckingham Palace for various offences relating to cocaine, to God knows what else. Do you know what I mean? Kathy Saunders has joined us tonight. Hello, Kathy. I haven't spoken to you for a very long time. I hope you're well. And thank you. She says, well said. It's great to have you on board. Another thing that the Queen is not very happy about, apparently. She can't be very happy about many, many things, really. And we've got this 98-year-old still there. She should, I'm surprised she is. I think, you know, she should abdicate and not basically give it to Prince Charles. It never worked in many years. I think the royal family will finish. Same as politics, same as everything in our country. It's going to change. Royal aides are preparing for Prince Harry to come home to face a possible telling off another person sit on the naughty step, like his uncle from the Queen. Staff have been told to get Frogmore Cottage ready, but Meghan has not been mentioned. News of the visit comes after Harry handed over a substantial sum to pay rent and clear the bill for 2.4 million taxpayer-funded renovation to his UK home. The Queen returned to work at Windsor this week and could speak face-to-face with the grandson in the castle grounds. It comes after palace insiders warned Harry was stepping over the line. You're stepping over the line. Does anyone know what this incredible bunch of sadistic, horrible, nasty bunch of people that surround these people called the royal family? These people that do anything, basically, to make sure that they hold that power. Power is corrupt, remember, in the wrong hands. Matthew John, hello. How are you? Lol, what royal family? It's a bit like saying, what government? It's all illusion. I completely agree with you, Matthew John. Unfortunately, it is an illusion. But at the same time, it's not that much of an illusion because it's still there. That's what they're showing to people, even though we know that it isn't. We have got coming on in 6 minutes' time, Grant Hicks, who will be coming on talking about Grant Hicks and what he's doing, his life and everything else. He's been on before. He's an amazing guy. And then at 8 o'clock tonight, 8:12, we're opening for any comments. We're going to talk about love and we're going to talk about fear. And obviously in between all that, we're going to talk about whatever else you want us to talk about as well. So, and any questions or anything else you have as well. Other crazy stories getting away from that bloody Royal family and the whole system that we live in, which is basically finished. Jeremy Clarkson is giving Gwyneth Paltrow a run for money. Now, can you believe it's only in this country, isn't it? The star is flogging candles that smell like his privates. Can you believe that? You know, Jeremy Clarkson, the TV star, made his own scented variety called "This Smells Like My Bollocks." Jeremy, 60, is selling them for £22.50 in his farm shop in Chipping Norton. Quick, we must all go and buy that. Hollywood lovey Gwyneth, 48, launched a bizarre "This Smells Like My Vagina" candles this year on a wellness website. Can you believe what I'm reading? Can you believe Can you believe it? Absolutely nuts, isn't it? Oh dear. She followed it with this smells like my orgasm. Oh God. Oh dear. I didn't even know Gwyneth had done that. So then Jeremy Clarkson comes out and says, I'm going to make some now, look. And they smell like my bits. Oh dear. The mind boggles, doesn't it? This is about Dot Cotton. June Brown stars Dot Cotton in EastEnders, has been ordered to keep smoking at 93 because she might keel over with shock if she quits now. The actress, 93, has spent the past 70 years puffing about 20 cigarettes a day, although she tried to quit last year. And she's still going strong and she's still in the program. There you are. What can you say to that? Matthew John says the Crown owns a copyright on our birth certificate. Yes, it does. It certainly does. 3 minutes time, we've got Grant Hicks coming up. What else, Matthew John say? I'm very good. Like to say good evening to everyone. Hello and good evening to you, Matthew John. I spoke to you for a while. I want to get you back on the show as well. It'd be fantastic to have you back. Apparently, frequent sex can cure painful kidney stones in women. Regular romps were found to boost the chances of spontaneously passing the lumps by more than half. 3 to 4 weekly sessions were enough to help many women get over their problems within 2 weeks. Larger stones, about the size of a Malteser, passed unaided after 4 weeks of sex, the study found. What do they do with this? Do they actually get people, put them in a room, and they got kidney stones, and then they put them under a trial and they have sex this many times? Do you know what I mean? It's absolutely ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. And, you know, this about sums up our churches, our religions, and everything else as well. Because we got here, a priest allegedly filmed himself having sex with a corset-wearing dominatrix on the altar of his Catholic church. A passerby reportedly saw half-naked Reverend Travis Clark, 37, with 2 women and surrounded by sex toys. Clark was arrested at St. Peter and Paul Church in Pearl River, Louisiana, with adult film actress Mindy Dixon and Melissa Ching. All 3 were charged with obscenity over the incident. The women reportedly told officers they were at the church to film role play with and you know, we know, don't we? You know, church, religion, power. And on This Morning, viewers were stunned yesterday as the ex-pastor told how she had become a stripper. Nicole Mitchell, 36, quit the church to make living, performing online. The mum of 3 said, I have these desires to express myself in ways I've never been able to. Host Eamon Holmes had promised viewers online porn ahead of the interview with Nicola via video link from California, which left many feeling flustered. His wife and co-host Ruth Langford seemed lost for words, especially I can't even finish that story. Because my phone's ringing. This has got to be Mr. Grant Hicks. Are you there?
Hello, Clint.
How are you, Grant?
I'm really good, thanks, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. I don't know where half an hour went. I was just giving them a rundown of what I thought about certain things that were going on. Do you know what I mean? It's just a mad world. If you don't mind, we're gonna keep you on a little while tonight, because I don't know if you heard in the beginning. We're gonna talk about you for the next half an hour and what you're up to and all the rest of it. And then what I thought we'd do at 8 o'clock to 8:30, because I've had to move things around a bit tonight. I thought we'd open it for anyone who had any questions, comments, or anything about anything, and we'll have a bit of discussion about fear and love.
Okay, sounds good.
So, how are you? You haven't been on for a while. It's great to have back on. You were a revelation last time you were on, and it's fantastic to have you. Do you want to briefly, for people that don't know who you are, Grant, just give a brief resume of who you are?
Oh dear, who am I? It's a big question.
I know your journey's not been an easy one.
No, it hasn't. Certainly hasn't. We don't need to go into that. That'll take all night. But I'm a qualified hypnotherapist. I specialise in past life regressions, taking people back to their past lives and delving in those. And I've got an online past life regression workshop next Saturday, actually.
Brilliant.
For people all over the world joining on. I've got my psychic medium page. So I do readings for people. Yeah. And I've got my psychic and spiritual awakening communities as well. I just like to get people to think, really.
Yeah, that's what it's about, isn't it? Making people think.
Yeah, outside the box. It's always, I've kind of always played like a devil's advocate. So people say something and go, right, have you ever thought of it this way? Or why do you think it's that way? You know, because as we know, most people's thoughts aren't theirs.
No. And that's what like governments and everything else work on, because they think, well, they believe everything we say, which clearly loads of people don't.
Well, this is the thing, Clint. I mean, obviously being a qualified hypnotherapist and studying NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, we use it for good. We use it to rewire people's brains to take them out their destroying habits. Yeah. So we can see the signs or signals a mile off, and that's exactly what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And obviously, I think Dominic Cummings is one of those, but using it for bad.
Yeah, they all are. Yeah. I mean, this is what they get taught at their schools, not the private schools and that. Yeah. They get taught to be the farmers, and our children get taught to be the sheep. Yeah.
I hope I pronounce this right. S. Dutton. E.S. Dutton. Yep. I've done his regression. Fabulous. So glad I did it. Well, that's fantastic. Alan Reposh says, hello, Clint. Hello, Alan. Welcome along to the Inview. And, you're right. This programming. I mean, it's so boring to talk about COVID, but there's a very dark underlying message here, which I feel people waking up to, because we are in the thrones of an immense toxic liquidizer, I feel, at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, it's been planned for decades, centuries, and you try and say that to people, and a lot of people switch off.
Yeah, immediately,
because they just can't comprehend it. They're so indoctrinated by the system. Yeah, and there's been many films over the years that have been trying to tell us this, and they just believe what the news tells them, Big Brother tells them. Yeah, and I mean, if my children can see through it. And say, why do these people wear masks then? I say, that's just stupid. They can't think. And they're trying, what they're doing now is getting society to turn on itself.
Well, yeah, causing division, complete division. And that's where you're having people having fights because one person isn't wearing a mask, one person is. And, because of the fear that's driven with inside people. And when we talk about that after 8 o'clock, that's not just a fear of now. That's a fear of their own fears.
Well, do you know something, Clint? I was speaking to a few friends of mine. Well, my friends are, can see what's going on. We don't even have to talk about it. We just know. What I found is that people that have suffered abuse, whether that's childhood abuse, sexual abuse, violent abuse, psychological abuse, even as adults, can just sense abuse. All right, they can sense abusive people immediately. Narcissists, psychopaths, the ball works.
Yeah.
And I'm surrounded by these people. I'm proud to call them friends. It's kind of like like-minded people live together. So if you suffered abuse, you kind of tend to get to know more people that have suffered abuse.
Absolutely.
But also the good thing is that a lot of people I know have worked through their abuse and have come out the other side.
Yeah.
So they're much stronger.
Yeah.
But we can see the abuse that is going on. And these people have lived a lovely life with a silver spoon up their backside can't see the abuse.
No.
I just cannot see it.
No. Even though they've gone through it, they've got almost like a memory blank.
Well, they have, yeah. It's like the chips frazzled in their minds.
Yeah.
It's blowing, it's pops, like they popped a fuse.
Yeah.
Popped a fuse and put one back in.
Yeah. Lynn Timlet says, hi, Clint. Donna Whitney Field says, hello, Clint. I have done Grant's past life regression also. It's fantastic. People really sign up with Grant. They won't regret it. That's fantastic. Brilliant. That's a lovely thing. And looking at a past life, and obviously I do shamanic past life and things like that as well. I feel that, we have to go back, because I always say that we're the end result of everything we've been right now.
Yes, absolutely.
Everything we have inside us, we've had in every lifetime.
Yeah.
And when we come here, in a way, our soul comes back to this plane, and we have to go through a recall mission with ourselves to reinvigorate, to get it switched back on. And that might be good through good, bad, or indifferent. Yeah. And in a lot of cases, people that are in suffrage, that's been through abuse, pain, suffering, which we all have, where we've lost everything and then come back.
But that's it. And a lot of it is, Clint, is a lot of people are not prepared to do the work.
They're not prepared. That is the problem.
And you can see them all walking around. They're the ones wearing the masks. They're not prepared to do the work on themselves.
Yeah.
And it's quite shocking, actually, the minority. It's teeny.
Yeah.
That can see through it. Teeny. It's growing bit by bit. I mean, for example, Clint, I do my online past life regression workshops roughly once a month. And on the last one, the lady from America, I took her back, and she was a Native American Indian boy. And she died about 6 or 7 years of age. But she died choking to death, right? Yeah. And she couldn't believe it. She come out of it and went, I don't believe this. This is unreal. I said, what's up? And she goes, I've always had a problem with choking all through my life. And she's 60 years of age now. And she said, I choke on air, I choke when I eat, I choke when I drink. And she just couldn't comprehend it, right? And it stopped her from choking. She now no longer chokes. 60 years she's been choking, and now no longer chokes.
Yeah. Because she faced it inside herself.
That's it. It's understanding it. It's doing the work on yourself.
Yeah. But you're right. You have many people like me. I've read for thousands of people in my time. I'm sure you have as well. And there is only a few people that get it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. They want that. It's because of the society, the inbred and installed historical knowledge of what they carry here. They want somebody else to do it.
That's right. Yeah, they want the magic pill. They want someone else to do the hard work for them.
Yeah.
They'll just walk in, and it's like, oh, it's a little teeny bit uncomfortable, but I can manage this. They scratch the surface. You've got to go in deep. You've got to go real deep.
Yeah. Matthew John says, we will see the middle class disappear now, and the Great Divide will bring in the New World Order. Alan Reposh says, I've done Grant's past life regression several times. Grant is gifted being. I learned a lot through him. Lynn Timlet says, Grant is amazing with his past life regression workshops. That's fantastic. Great accolades. And that's really nice. It's quite strange. One of the things that's very hard to accept, when people say things like, it's hard to say, because you're just you. When people say it to me, I'm just me. You just use what you have within you that you always carried through all lives, whether that be psychic, magic, whatever, alchemy, hermetic magic, whatever it may be, that you've always carried. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's unlocking it. It's unlocking it through your lives.
Yeah.
And it's like when I do these workshops, it's like I'm the key master. I've got a great big bunch of keys, and I just go, right, I'm going to unlock this door for you. Go in, have a look inside. You know, you might not like what you see, you might love what you see, but you're definitely going to learn something.
Yeah, but you know what there's an avoidance strategy here with people, in this reality, because in a way they can't even sit in their own space. You know, one of the things in lockdown that we see straight away is people, you know, this is why I said earlier on that the mental problems that's going to exist are going to be an avalanche of them, because people have had to do something that they didn't want to do and actually sit with themselves. How many people stop and actually sit down with themselves and think about them? They don't. They're looking for something else to do it for them.
Yeah. That's it. It's just, I don't know, it's like a whole spell has gone over the world. Like a great big blanket has gone over, and just a lot of people have just been caught up in a spell. Yeah. And you can literally put facts and figures in front of their faces,
and they say, "Look, I know." It's amazing, Grant. You know as well as I. You put stuff on your wall. I put my stuff on my wall. The amount of there is people look at it, but there aren't many people like it because they can't believe it.
No, they can't. No, they can't. And it's you even go on. I think it's called Deagle, Deagel, Deagle, that even states in 2025 the whole world population, and it does it by country, by their GDP, has been reduced by 2/3. Can you imagine the UK reduced by 2/3? It's just what type of people are going to be the ones that go?
Well,
it's going to be the ones that are going to ignore what's going on.
Yeah, and I do feel the month we're in is a very prevalent month for things to be ramped up in a way. I just mentioned Anis Lyra says, hi Clint, amazing doing Grant's workshop. It opens your spiritual path right up. And she says the inner world is so important. And you know, it is. And I say to people all the time myself, and I'm sure you do, is the fact that the unseen we see is more real, and actually what we live in is an illusion.
Absolutely all day long. And it's hard to explain to people when you just feel it inside. It's like you're seeing it inside.
Yeah.
You're seeing from inside your body out, you know, not just by your eyes. And these kind of feelings are hard to explain to people and actually to teach to people as well.
And when people ask you that, you know, obviously they said to me, well, if it's not real, why is this table solid? Do you know what I mean?
It's not though, is it? It's not.
Matthew John says by 2025 there'll be 15 million people left in England. That's a hell of a reduction.
Yeah, that's right. And who's going to be the survivors?
Well, yes.
Who's going to be the survivors?
Well, you know as well as I do, Agenda 21, there is. I mean, people again won't want to hear it or listen to it, and they think it's pie in the sky and all sorts. It's not. There's a massive, huge, swathed movement been on this planet to not just get rid of 95% of the population, but to destabilize the planet. That is people. So create wars everywhere, make people not be in their own countries, make them in fear, make them needy. Do you know what I mean?
They've been terraforming this planet for a very long time.
Yeah, I know.
Terraforming it to suit them. And it's like, people have no idea that we're in a war, a huge, giant, enormous war. And it's like, well, what's your place in this war? What, to sit and cower behind your couch?
No.
Or are you going out there and facing it head on? You know, there's not many people like us that are facing it head on.
No. Well, because I'm not going to be treated with contempt. I stand in my own power and my journey. And that's not because I'm amazing or anything. I just stand in it in truth. Because I don't bloody believe any of these bastards.
I tell you, Clint, being authentic and being straight down the line is so rare nowadays, and you get ridiculed, looked at funny.
I know.
It's like everyone should live in their lives. It's constant lies.
Yeah, complete and utter garbage.
Yeah,
I mean,
it really is.
And people say, well, I don't watch the news and I don't buy newspapers. And for me, I think, well, you're a bit of a mug because you don't know what's going on. You don't know what they are telling people. They don't know what, in a way you've got to know what they're doing so you can actually see the lies that's behind it, because everything you read or see is it's got a reverse psychology to it.
But the thing is, a lot of the people are devolving now, Cliff. They're devolving.
Yeah.
They're going backwards. They're not evolving. Some people are evolving and seeing, the ones that see through it are evolving, going, look, you still believe this theatre? You still believe this show?
Yeah.
You should ask for your money back. This show's crap.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, all those aliens and beings that come and visit us and watch us on a constant basis, somebody said to me years ago, is the Earth a zoo? I mean, I wouldn't be all surprised, to be honest.
It's funny you should say that, because I did a Ouija board a few years ago, and I had an adrenalin come through. I was talking to it for about an hour. And I said, what is the Earth? And it spelt out a zoo.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it spelt out, a zoo.
It's like going to Whipsnade.
Yeah. Look at these arseholes down here.
Yeah.
It's like looking at when I describe things to people, I say, always look at it as though you're an extraterrestrial looking down at Earth and going, why are they doing that? That makes no sense. Yeah. Why are they allowing this small amount of people to dictate a rule and make them feel shit? Yeah. Why are these humans doing that?
And not only that they restrict. And while we've been talking today, there would have been another 35,000 deaths by the end of the day of people that starved to death.
I know. And they're still carrying on listening to the government. They say 30,000 odd deaths by cancer, but they're not being looked after.
No, well, there's going to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Yeah, and if you look at it, it goes. I think you're absolutely right. What you said. This has been going on a long, long time. This is not a new thing. This has been evolving since the 40s, 30s, 20s, even, if not longer than that. Where it's corruption of food chain, corruption of what we drink, corruption of the air we breathe, and then what they do is they pump people full of loads of drugs that are legal. They're actually got nanotechnology in to switch them on.
Exactly. And then on computers and phones and that, you've got what you call the digital gin.
Yeah.
The DJINN, digital gin. And you can feel it. It's like sucking you in to keep on Facebook all the time,
Yeah.
Keep you busy so you're not looking at, the issues at hand.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Alan Reposh says they are creating sanity. Matthew John says, I found that it's the smallest things that keep the darkness at bay. Everything is where it's meant to be. Gemma Jane Brooks said, if 2/3 of the population are going to go, what will they do with the ones that's left? It does scare me.
Well, this is the thing, right? We've got to look at this because I did the Ouija board again a couple of weeks ago, right? And we had an Atlantean come in, right? It's bizarre. And this Atlantean asked how old he was, and I think he said 6,503 years old, right? And I said about what's going to be happening. Yeah, a lot of people are going to go. And I said, is the cabal going to be here? They went, yes, they are. I went, oh, geez, really? I said, yeah, but not in the capacity that they are now. They'll still be around, but they will not have the power that they have. So we've really got to work hard, and we've got to take our own communities back.
Mm.
We've got to rebuild our society. Everyone's looking for a bloody leader, whether it's or a religious figure. It's not. It's us. We have to do it.
Well, we are the walking honouring church ourselves. We don't need to go to one. We don't need to go to a place of prayer or anything. We need to just look at ourselves. Yeah.
We've just got to say, do you know what? That your behaviour is not acceptable anymore. We're not even going to acknowledge you. If the police come up to us, like, we don't know who you are. You're not part of us. You're not part of us. We don't want nothing to do with you.
But what they do is they throw other things in the mix. Black Lives Matters, for instance.
Oh, of course they do. Yeah, because they want to draw certain people in, don't they?
Yeah.
They want to get all their support. They can say, "Oh, skinhead lives matter."
Yeah.
McDonald's lives matter. You see all those idiots queuing up in their cars, and it's blocking the road up just to get their things. Eating the dead babies and burgers.
I mean, I had a dream a very long time ago, where I see sounds like
Martin Luther King.
I know. I had a dream. No, I did. I had a dream a long, long time, many, many years ago, where I see the Earth gone through a massive. You talked about war. It was in a war. basically, because it showed itself in reality. Because there's a war going around our planet. It's been going on for a long, long time. Dark and light, what you see in Star Wars, and people think I'm bonkers, but I was born in the sun anyway, so I don't care. But, you know, out in our orbit, in our solar system, or whatever you want to call it, there is wars going on. I've seen it. If you're late at night and you're driving down a road and you look in a long distance, you see the flashes going on. They're flashes out in way beyond the clouds, way beyond but they're so big and dramatic. You know, in that dream, I see that these ships were picking lots of people up to save them.
Yeah, well, if you look at the film Knowing, do you know the film Knowing?
Yeah, I did. I watched it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, that's like that.
Yeah, but exactly I've always been told, because the West is filth, you know, the West is absolute filth. And I'll read this a minute. It's very funny. The West is filth, the East isn't. Now, as mad as this sounds, and this is the propaganda and the fascist propaganda that's put out there against Russia. Do you know where the beings that are going to save this planet, they sit in the underground installations in Russia. The beings that are here to damage this world sit in the underground installations of America.
You've got Dulcie over there, haven't you?
Dulcie, then you go down to Australia, which is Pine Bank. There you can't get within 10 miles of it or you're shot.
Wow, it's just... That's what
and they're all built on Native American Indian sacred land as well.
Yeah, exactly.
To soak up that energy.
Yeah, suppressing the energy.
Yeah.
Well, America's supposed to have the old, the red-haired, green-eyed giants.
Yeah.
And the Native Americans even spoke about them.
Yeah.
So all these kind of beings that we see, like in films like Lord of the Rings, where
it's real.
Or giants,
it's real.
They're hidden. They've been captured and you know,
it's real. There is the missing 411. I spoke about some weeks ago on here, where there is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, all ages, and babies go missing in national parks in America.
Yeah.
Never found. Or if they do find them, they're either dead or they may be alive. But they're always naked and missing shoes. It's cryptology. That's what it is. Gemma Jane Brooks says Clint sounds like Martin Luther King, but looks a cross between KFC Man and My Little Pony. That's funny, that is. Matthew John says the ones who survive are the ones that come together. We have to look after our bodies first. Detox. Get yourself some zeolite. It pulls all heavy metals and it decalifies the pineal gland. East Dutton says, hi, Clint and Grant. What do you think about the common law court and what they are doing? Live in person, birth certificates, etc.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, common law courts are not what people think they are.
No.
Again, you're giving your power away, believe it or not.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Matthew John would totally agree with you, and I understand completely what you're saying.
So this is the thing. When you first start getting in, then you believe that common law is the way. But then when you dig deeper and deeper, you can see straight through it again.
The thing is that the police force is owned by corporate.
Yeah.
It's not a legal thing at all. It's you know, I mean, I know that. I went on the anti-poll tax demonstrations way back when Thatcher was in power. I was one of, and they said there was 50,000 people. There was 200. There was 250,000, if not getting on for 500,000 people in London, and they're all ordinary people like me. And I see it. I see all the vans down the streets at 5 o'clock. The whistle went, and they were sent in.
That's it. It's a big setup.
Yeah.
You know, why are they doing demonstrations at Trafalgar Square? They're a great big energy harvesting centre. Why don't they just bombard the House of Parliament or Buckingham Palace?
Yeah.
You know?
I know.
You know, do it during the week.
Yeah.
You know, it's just all a scam. Everything. It's just distractions. All distraction. You know. I do feel
that we are at a massive. It's been created for them to control, but actually, I said this the other day. It's backfired really, because actually, light has won. Really, we have won a big battle here.
Yeah.
And this is darkness throwing the rattles out of a plan and trying to cause as much disharmony as possible before it actually goes.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's just like a spoiled child, you know, smashing all the toys up, to cause as much chaos as possible when it's lost the game. You know, when people like play Monopoly, they lose, they throw the game up in the air.
They do.
That's exactly what it's like.
But from early age, all we're taught in schools is that we must be better than anyone else.
Yeah, not to work together.
Not to work together, no. And the segregation that we go through at the moment in the fact that we can't meet, we can't do this, we can't do that. And then what we're going to do is going to screw people up totally, because we're going to bring so many different rules and regulations. Nobody really understand what they're meant to be doing.
No. And the thing is, what they're doing is getting people to grass on each other.
Yes. You know, I know.
Grass thy neighbour, not love thy neighbour, grass thy neighbour. Mind you, I was around some friends the other night and I got them to put on the series Love Thy Neighbour. They'd never seen it before.
I know, I remember that. I remember that. It was immensely funny. Yeah,
and they looked at me, they're in their 30s, and they looked at me, oh my God, is this real? I said, yeah, this is how the TV used to be back then.
Yeah.
You know, no one minded, it was just how it was.
Yeah.
You could speak your mind, couldn't you, about...
but this politically correct, completely and utterly sterilised that society we live in is bad for us, bad for our health.
Yeah, very bad.
Bad for us health, physically and mentally.
Yeah, can't say this, can't do that.
And that gets more and more. And we have to walk around with masks on. We have to look like Chinese people.
Oh, don't. I was in the supermarket earlier and everybody had one, even the checkout women, everyone. And they're looking at you as in fear.
Yeah.
Like they're jumping in a vegetable.
And if you cough, oh my God, they run them all.
I was walking down the street and there's a lady and her husband walking past their pensioners and she was scraping herself along the wall to get out of the way. Another guy crossed the road, he ran inside a church and around. Well, what is he doing? What's going on? It's like the old film War of the Worlds.
I know. Yeah, it is.
And it is, well, it's like the original, isn't it? The original 1930s War of the Worlds, where it's just a radio show.
Yeah.
And everyone thought it was real, and they called in the National Guard and all that. Yeah. And that's exactly what's happening now.
But they did all that in 1947 when that I can't remember his name. In 1947, Roswell. When that crash disc happened.
Roswell, yeah.
Yeah. Where that poor guy had to sit the crouch or kneel there with a weather balloon, which was absolute rubbish because he took a piece home and it was metal that you could actually bend and it would then go back to its former shape.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, there's so much going on. I mean, you've got, do you know Valiant Thor? You know the Valiant Thor?
Yeah.
Val the Venusian, supposed to be from Venus, who actually spent 3 years in the Pentagon.
Yeah.
You know, it's all documented. That's Eisenhower.
Yeah.
And then his granddaughter, Laura Eisenhower, she even talks about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
It's right there. It's right
I know, there. But I know. Nobody listened. I was meant to be on a bill with Laura Eisenhower at one point, but it never happened in the end.
Yeah.
But you know, it's all there, as you say. You don't have to go very far before you can actually find out there's jump gates, and that. I mean, people just think I'm bonkers, but it's not. Where Obama and President Clinton were enlisted in the military and actually spent and served time on Mars and went through jump gates.
Yeah.
But they think I'm mad.
I know. They'll jump rooms. That's the thing when you talk to people and you watch some interviews and people try and mock the interviewees saying, "Oh, one day we'll get to Mars," and they look at them and go, "Are you taking a piss?" we've been on there loads.
Yeah,
we've been there loads.
Yeah,
we don't need spaceships to go there. We just have jump rooms go in there.
That's right.
There.
That's right. It all started with chromovision many years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
A few comments on it. Matthew John says, please come and join the website that he's got, which is Start Talking on the Platform We Can Control, which is spiritualunitynetwork.com. And he also says the common law court is getting you to register your birth certificate with them when it's already copyrighted. It's also run by the Scottish government. The whole truth movement is infiltrated. I'd agree with that completely.
Yeah.
And hang on a minute, a lot of comments on here. Jane, what am I talking about? Gemma. I see Jane. Gemma James Brooks says the mainstream media is trying to demonize conspiracy theorists. Absolutely right. Trying to say that anyone who questions, disagrees with the government is crazy. I'm worried they will say open-minded people are causing harm and relabel us terrorists.
Yep.
And Lynn Timlet says, oh my God. And Matthew John says they did that in Nazi Germany, grasping on each other. Yeah, what else we got here? Gemma Brooks also says, used to cough to cover a fart. Now you fart to cover a cough.
Speaking from experience.
Yeah. Victoria McGrath says, it's so sad the world that we live in. It is, but we're making a change because we're talking to each other on here and we're being allowed to do it. Do you know what I mean?
It's constant work, Clint. It's constant work. It's, when I do my lives on my psychic medium page, I'm quite forthright with people because they come on and they go, oh, can I have a card? I've had a really bad day. And I go, oh, really? Oh, what, you want me to join your pity party, do you?
I know.
And I pull them up and say, come in, tell the world why you've had such a bad day. Well, it's not been that bad. Well, no, come on. You're not going to drag me down to your level. I'm not going to trauma bond with you. I'm not going to trauma bond. That's what they want. Everyone wants to be trauma bonded rather than work on themselves and lift themselves up.
Yeah, but there's many souls that have been tainted. There's many souls that have been reconfigured in a way, or even shut down and manipulated by darkness.
Yep.
And that they exist in our reality. They're people we know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it happens to a lot of family as well. I mean, my dad died a few weeks ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's terrible.
No, he's one of my abusers, so his good job he's gone.
All right, yeah, well, that's good. Well, he hasn't. He's gone to a transition place to look at his sins, basically.
Well, he needs to have a good old look.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying.
But this is the thing, right? Because it's when people don't know you and they go, "Oh, he'll be helping you now." I said, "I don't think he will. He never did in this life. He caused as much damage as he could."
Yeah.
And
but you know why? You see, people say to me all the time, not moving away from your subject, it's very much part of it. You find that most people that have gone through immense torture, physical, sexual, or abuse of any description, live in the wrong families because I don't know what happened when we soul shifted, but we weren't put in the right places, which meant that almost darkness was waiting for us to shut us down going into the families we went into. But then we had to go through an immense amount of trauma, pain, and suffering to re-energize ourselves to actually be who we are now. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I look at it as a different way, Clint. I kind of look at it as maybe, if you looked at Greek mythology, for example, the Greek gods like Zeus or whatever need a great big handful of spiritual warriors to take on his darkness. And he goes, look, the only way we're going to be able to test how strong these warriors are is put them in the deep, dark shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's threw us all down and into these disgusting families. And that's say, right, you sink or swim. You either make it out of there or you're done. That is it.
Yeah.
And, good job a lot of us have done.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Clint, I mean, it's one of my sister's friends that told me about my dad's funeral. My dad dying. Oh, sorry for your loss. I went, oh, but what loss? Someone died? I said, my mum or dad? And it's like, it was my dad. And his funeral was last Friday, and I knew nothing about it at all.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. And people say, oh, it's going to really hit you later on. It's like,
well, no, it isn't, because it's right. Something that you're glad to be away from.
That's right. This is what a lot of people, and these are people that feel that they've worked on themselves, but they haven't. They've really got such a long way to go still.
Yeah, and what people don't realise is that a lot of parents we have are, I'm not talking about people like ourselves, but the people that brought us into the world, they have a purpose which was not necessarily the right purpose, because it's there to not switch us on, handlers in a way.
That's it.
And then we go through handling relationships.
Oh yeah.
Because we carry with us, this almost ball and chain. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. They just don't want us waking up. It's like one bit after another. But it takes a certain person to come through it all.
Yeah.
You know, you've had lots of abuse in your life, abusive relationships, and sometimes it makes us abusive as well.
Yeah.
You know, can't forget that. Sometimes we're not the good guy. Sometimes that is for survival.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And we are survivalists, to be honest.
Yeah.
Victoria McGrath says, yeah, Clint, you don't look bonkers. Thank you very much, Victoria. Lynn Timlett says, yes, truth. Dina Lee McEwen says, trauma bonding. Lynn Timlett says, to help others. Dina Lee McEwen says, put in trauma families to help us rise up and shine our light for the rest of the world. And Lynn Timlett says, release the chains and hooks.
Yeah. Well, saying that on release chains and hooks, a lot of people do cord detachment, don't they? And it's when you get
cutting cords and all manner of different things.
Yeah, but the thing is, Clint, this is it. When they focus on cutting the cords, right? You get this where they cut the cords, get the Archangel Michael, and he'll cut the cords, you know. They say, fantastic, now your cords are cut. And they go, yeah, but what about the hooks that are still inside them?
Yeah.
You've cut the cords, but the hooks are still inside, and you forgot about that, didn't you?
And there's also subconscious memory.
Yeah.
Because, you know, whatever we go through, we carry that memory, whatever that may be, trauma, joy, or whatever, not just with inside ourselves, but in the arenas of our conscious levels, inner, outer, and dimensional level parallel lives. And also we carry that trauma with inside ourselves that if we don't look at, comes out in body.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely all day long. Because when I do the past life regressions and we go to the people's death in their past life, and it's so linked to any ailments now. It's completely linked.
Yeah.
You know, so it carries it on. But also we can carry it on to our children as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, talking about children, it is we are living in a time where the children are completely, they don't realize it, but I'm talking about children from I mean, luckily up to the age of 5 you're actually pure, then you go to school and then you're indoctrinated into shit.
That's it. Yeah.
But as you get older, and 8-year-olds are now 12-year-olds are now 18-year-olds are now 28. Do you know what I mean? And they don't realize it, but you know, all these things, I mean, in moderation it's okay, but it's not in moderation because it's addictive, because people have addictive personalities. And you know what they don't realize is that the PlayStation 4, the Xbox, or the computer, whatever it is, even the phone, are addictive things that you have to use all the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. They get them so hooked in. Don't play outside. Play on the computer games. Look at this new computer game. Look at this. It's like, you know, I'm not into football, but you get these FIFA football games.
Yeah.
It's like, well, how different can it be every year?
I know.
FIFA 2020. Well, what's the difference then?
Yeah, but it's about new players. It's about money. Well, they don't realise very soon there won't be any first or second divisions. It won't exist.
No. But you know something? So I don't watch football at all. But the other night there was a game on, England versus Wales at Wembley.
Yeah.
Right? And there were no spectators.
No.
The most bizarre thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Wembley Stadium, no spectators.
They're not allowed to. No. Look. It's much safer to be. Look, there are people that live in houses that have family members up to 12. Do you know what I mean? You go to Bradford, Liverpool, Birmingham, places got big families, and it's safer to sit in that than go out in a socially distanced way and stand in the fresh air.
Yeah.
You know, it's completely mad. I started off the show talking about the fact that the MPs are just giving themselves a 3,500 pay rise or whatever to stay at home. And the fact if they do go in, they'd be all right because they can get a drink to probably 1 o'clock in the morning at 50p a pint.
Yeah.
Do not people waking up to the fact that, you know, these are laughing at you.
Yeah, they really are. You know what? They're literally going, do you know what? This is so much fun because we're taking the piss out of them all. And they're still taking it. Let's take more piss out of them. Yeah.
And, I mean, Dominic Cummings must be on a head rush.
Oh, dear.
I cannot stand that man. He is the man behind this government that's there. And I don't even believe he's human, to be honest.
More likely not. more likely not. It's just, but I have to laugh because you think they've played such a good game. They really have. You got to shake their hands and say, you know, you've played a blinder.
Well, yeah. Really I mean, Dominic Cummings, to be fair, is a genius.
Yeah. It's a genius, but then look at the people. I mean, they lack so much intelligence.
They're cretins.
They lack so much intelligence.
I mean, look, we live in a society where for 160 days nearly, not one Conservative MP has been on GMTV.
Really? The mind boggles.
Melanie Kelloway says, agree with your words of wisdom. Matthew John says, well, nice to see who my true brothers are. It's been a painful journey. I'm currently in a spiritual rebirth moment. We'll be full steam ahead very soon. That'd be really good, Matthew, and get you back on as well. Victoria says, don't do as I do as I say, all in Parliament.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's madness, isn't it? And I mean, we sort of touched on the subject, but we're going to move slightly away from COVID. They'll probably come into it, to be honest. There's two areas that to look at, because we got Melanie on at 8:30. Love and fear, which are linked in a way at times, but fear itself, I mean, we can see fear openly in front of our eyes right now, can't we?
Yeah.
Fear porn everywhere.
Yeah.
But if people have fears within inside themselves, the escalation is massive, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And the thing is, Clint, they're putting it in the schools because at my kids' schools, they have to watch the news round.
All right.
The BBC are in all schools over the country, primary school, secondary school, putting their propaganda out. And America, apparently CNN is being played in the schools.
Oh, my God.
That's disgusting. It's just, lucky enough my kids muck about and don't even watch it. But
no, I know, but it's wrong because a lot of kids will take it on board.
Well, they will.
Particularly if they got fearful people that are actually their parents.
Well, that's where it comes from, the parents, because I asked my kids in school, I said, how many kids wear masks? And they said nearly all of them. They have to wear masks, 2 classes, walking between classes, going down to lunch, going to the toilet. I said, you are kidding me. Really? I said, that shows you how many parents are living in fear.
Yeah.
You know, and they're putting that abuse onto their children.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Teaching them to be cowards.
Because, what do we learn? When we're young, we have to learn from our surroundings and the people that are actually there to guide us. And, God help the next generation coming up because they won't understand what they're meant to do with children.
No, they won't.
They'll be gone.
Yeah. But this is it. What they're doing is focusing on the next generation of, like, the non-mask wearers, so that the mask wearers are kind of go for them.
Yeah.
So it's normal to wear a mask. Why are you not wearing a mask? Like, there's nothing there.
Yeah, in 20 years' time, they'll be saying, you remember the days when we hugged people? Do you remember the days when we didn't wear masks?
Yeah. This isn't going away. People think it's going away. It's not.
No, it's not. No, it's going to be tighter.
Yeah.
S. Dutton says the Who, not the Who, the band, the Who have said lockdowns are wrong, apparently. Well, look, it's not just the Who. There are hundreds and hundreds of doctors, psychologists, and all sorts out there right now that are saying that everything that we are being told is an absolute load of shit, basically.
Yeah.
Alan Reposh has asked, could you elaborate a bit, please, regarding Dominic Cummings? Well, do you really want me to blow a gasket? I am not his fan at all. Sorry?
Alan's American.
Oh, right. Sorry, Alan. Dominic Cummings is...
we forgive him.
Yeah. No, it's all right. That's okay. Dominic Cummings is he's not a member of Parliament or anything. He is just an advisor to the government. But this is somebody who's been an advisor to government before and was kicked out because of his views and because of his radicalization is a way of putting it, I suppose. I mean, that man has caused nothing but pain and suffering for lots of people for many years. He has very strict, almost, I would say, Nazi-styled attitude. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And, he is not interested in you, Alan, me, or anyone. He is interested in power. And, I don't even feel he's real, to be honest. He needs, when Boris got the COVID or whatever, supposedly, probably didn't. You see him running away from number 10. And then what he did in COVID, of course, he got in his car and he drove, and that's all right. You go and do that. Yeah. And, you know, he's got 6 companies involved with that is making millions, millions and millions out of this right now. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And, you know, somebody should get hold of that person, but they can't, because you know why? Because he's got loads of crap on all of them. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That's it. And you know, this is a weirdly horrible, sneaky, slimy, horrible person that you wouldn't trust with anything. You wouldn't trust with your keys. You wouldn't trust with anyone. He is full of deception, lies, and deceit. Do you know what I mean? And luckily, we're still an age we can say that, and the secret police don't come around and take me away. Melanie Kelloway is on shortly. Says, "God help the next generation." Stella Edmondson says, "Got to try and make sure you give big smiles to little children so they have some recall of what a smiling non-masked person looks like." You're right, absolutely. Alan, who's listening from America, from Jersey, he says, "Forgiven." I'm sorry you didn't realize that. I didn't realize where you were. Gemma says the next generation of children will never know a time where they were free. And those being born now will never know a pre-COVID time. So all these strange things will seem normal to them. This is really important. That's such an important statement. Matthew John says, once you become petrified, you become a statue. You can't move from fear. Your immune system is compromised completely and utterly. Michael J. Vickery, psychic pirate, I know very well. Quote found a while ago, "You are the professional head of the armed forces. Please nip back to the department, ask them to sort themselves out, because if not, Cummins is going to come down and sort you out his own way, and you won't like it." Conservative MP Mark Francois urged General Sir Nick Carter, Chief of Defence Staff, to ensure his department is better organised. Otherwise, Dominic Cummins would come down and sort it out. And I'll come back to you in a sec. Andrea Windrust says Cummins is an idiotic prat and wants locking up. He does. He wants horsewhipping before he's locked up. Gemma Jane Brooks says Mike Hancock, or as I call him, Mike Cock, is strange. Yes, he is. He's another very strange little man that's involved in all this. And talks a load of shit, basically.
That's all they do. That's all they do. Bum fluffery, we call it.
Yeah.
Bum fluffery.
Lynn Timlett says they mostly have shares in the pharma industry. Yes, they do. Michael J. Vickery says I refer to the PM as boredom. As Cummins seems to be power behind the throne of Boris. Yes, he is. And Matthew John says the next generation will be born in pods. The Matrix film is looking more like reality every day. That's absolutely true.
Totally. Yeah, totally.
That's why, you know, before this even happened, a long time ago, it was in Brexit, actually. And that's not even done either. And, you know, with a potential second wave lockdown potentially coming and potentially not leaving Brexit, there's a great future ahead, isn't there, really?
Yeah, wonderful. But the thing is, it's again, Clint, it's like if I see anyone wear a mask, it's like I don't see them.
No,
I don't see them. I'm not vibrating on their level. They're gone to me. They're gone. You can't save them anymore. They're gone.
Yeah.
And so if you get any police, like, it's just that I can't hear you. I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you. That means you're not even listening to them. You're in a different jurisdiction.
Yeah, and you know, to be honest, they're all being found for what they are. That's why there is people campaign all over the world, including this country, massively against everything. Yeah. And then you've got people on TV saying, well, they shouldn't be out there campaigning. It's dangerous and blah, blah. Look, the thing is, it comes down to one thing, right? I'm coming up, I'm not going to say what age I am, but I'm coming up to blah, 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 whatever. I've lived quite a long time on this plane as it is. And I've lived through many, many different things. And every year I've lived through getting flu and all manner of different things and people dying and all manner. You know, look, if we kept everyone alive, where you are right now, you wouldn't be able to move. You'd be squashed on the ceiling.
That's right. Yeah. There's a circle of life, isn't it? A circle of life.
Nature is even more. Nature is even more deciding than us.
Yeah, but you're born to die.
Yes.
You're born to die.
The problem is there's a lot of people don't think they are.
I know. They're on Claire Cooker, they really are.
Yeah, but they are. But, you know, some of them really, you know, the serotonin eaters, the dark, awful, dark people that drink blood instead of any. We all drink a cup of tea and coffee. They don't. Yeah. They drink blood. And it follows them around. I'm talking mega rich people. I'm talking going to the Rothschilds and all sorts. They don't drink normal stuff because they think that it actually will do them good because they're completely transfixed and they're utilizing a history that doesn't exist.
It's just still dragging the old world order along.
I know, but it's finished, and I don't feel it's going to happen. I feel there will be. I spoke about this before with Matthew John. It's the fact that this is not a revolution. This is an evolution, but it's a hard evolution.
Yeah, it is.
And it's,
we've got
you know,
the Age of Aquarius, haven't we? We've got the Age of Aquarius, 21st December this year.
Yeah.
Gate portals fully open. It's like, right, let's go rocking. Let's go for it.
Yeah, and this month is really bad because we Triz on last week was saying, who does our astrology once a month, who was saying that we've got Mercury in retrograde and then Mars in retrograde as well, that would be challenging each other.
Interesting, eh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And Victoria McGrath says dividing the human race. Gemma says, and I put this on my wall actually, it's very true. Stanley Johnson, dickhead Boris's dad, actually allegedly wrote a book called The Virus about weaponized virus released in the population. It's still on sale on Amazon.
Yeah.
And he did.
Talks a lot about population reduction, doesn't he?
Yeah. And if you go, look, 2015, we've all seen it. Bill Gates with coronavirus talking about it in 2015 with the pictures, what we see now. Matthew John says, I spoke to someone who is a friend who works at the Office for National Statistics, and she said that today only 50 people have actually died of COVID-19. Well, there you go. And I would tend to believe Matthew and what I'm seeing, you know, in relation to where we sit right now, all the, you know, this potential, the lockdowns going on in the north where they're shutting all the pubs, they're shutting pleasure. They're shutting people to relax and unwind. They want people to kill each other, basically. That's what they want.
This is what I said one of the government ministers basically said, you know, we've got to stop people socialising. She blatantly said it on there, and we want to stop people socialising.
Yeah.
And laughing at it. It's like, you know what, piss off. We just need to ram raid House of Parliament. I can pay what people won't. People won't coward.
Do you feel that this will come to a point where there will be a complete and utter destabilization in this country as well as parts of the world, but looking at this country, where where I feel that this government will be kicked out and where there will be some form of a coalition government put in? Do you feel that that's what might happen?
I think we need to evolve beyond governments.
Yeah, we do. I agree.
We don't need them.
I agree. I completely agree. What it needs is people like me and you in there. That's what it needs.
We need elders.
Yes.
Because they went around the world killing all the elders of all the nations.
Yeah.
You know, and this is where if there's problems, you'd go and see the elders. The elders, let's just think about this and have a powwow around the fire with other elders.
Yeah.
What should we do about this? Okay, we're going to do what's best for everybody. You know, they weren't interested about putting stuff in their pockets and you know, sort themselves out. And it's just we've got to evolve beyond this. We've got to teach people that we don't need that anymore. We don't need it.
We should live in a system where I feel that this is the breakdown of the old world and break into the new, because their new world would be chips in our heads, chips in our hands, and everything. Do you know what I mean? But we need to have a solidarity here where, look, you know, if the government are paying everyone to stay at home at the moment, I mean, let's just write everything off. Let's forget about the whole system we have and let's start afresh. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. They're paying people £500 to stay home for 2 weeks in quarantine.
I know.
It's like, are you freaking joking me?
I know. When all they've got is a cold.
Someone who's on the dole, You know, someone's not working or low income. What are they going to do? Well, I'll stay at home for 2 weeks. I'm going to catch it again in a month's time.
Yeah.
You know, to make a living out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. But there are people that aren't actually doing that at all. There are people that are working and living in London or wherever and not enough money to pay everything, and they live on food banks.
Yeah.
That's the world we live in.
It was just such an imbalance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Extremely wealthy millionaires, billionaires, and then people living on the streets.
Yeah. And you know, those people on the streets are as important as all of us.
Oh, of course. They're the ones with a lot of life experience, and it's got to them too much, hasn't it? And
I think it would come. I think it will come. Gemma Jane Brooks says if they stop people socialising, then they won't form relationships, create children. Before you know it,
that's what they want.
Before you know it, they've briefly toyed with the idea. They will stop people having sex because they won't want any more children. They won't want life created. Do you know what I mean?
Well, we got the film called Children of Men with Michael Caine and Clive Owen. And
I remember that.
No more children are born ever. That's it.
Yeah.
And they're going to do it with vaccines, aren't they?
But they will if you're going to take it. But the problem is, if you don't have a vaccine, you won't be able to go abroad. You won't be able to do anything. You're going to be almost a leper.
Well, this is what I tell people: take yourself out of the system.
Yeah.
Educate yourself. Take yourself out of the system. Stop being your full capital letter name. You know, I've done it.
Yeah.
I've done it. I try and tell people to do it, and they live in. This is where the difference is, Clint. Is that people talk about it, what they want to do, but when it actually boils down to it, to taking real action, take yourself out of the system.
Yeah, but isn't that the thing? It's been going on for a long, long time. I remember when I went out and I was campaigning against the poll tax because I was living in a one-bedroom flat with me and my wife, and I was paying the same as Lord and Lady Egmont. Lived in Petworth in a 365-roomed house.
Yeah, I know.
And I was knocking doors and everyone, I totally agree with you and all sorts. But would they do anything? No, they wouldn't.
That's it. They won't. And it's you know, when it boils down to it, oh my God, I've got this £10,000 fine, I've got this. You do realise they have to pay it. Oh, yeah, I do, because they fine me and they threaten me. You do realise there's many different ways of discharging that.
Yeah.
You can get that, you discharge it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you start talking to them, it gets a bit technical. They go, oh, I'm just going to pay it.
Yeah,
there you go.
I know. It's complete madness.
You know, why are you allowing it? Why are you allowing it?
Victoria,
you're allowing it into your system.
Yeah. Victoria McGrath says Grant and Clint in charge. Matthew John says we've already got chips everywhere. The main one being the phone in our hands. Yes, it is. Andrea Windust says that's furlough is bribery. Penny Warwick says the mask and non-mask wearers are being divided and there are protesters fighting hard. We don't know that the world won't be restored long-term to a better world, even though there will be sacrifices. We are learning to evolve spiritually and harness the energy, hoping we will all at the same rate, surely. What else?
We won't. We won't. That's a fool's errand, that is.
Well, Matthew John really sums it up. He says knowledge is being kept back from the masses to keep the status quo. And, with all this COVID rubbish, Black Lives Matters and Brexit and all this rubbish, it hides massive truths that's going on that's hidden from view. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because all eyes are literally on this.
Well, that's it. Was it last week? Apparently it was going around, the FBI are doing a massive national security statement on Thursday. I was going, oh my God, what are they going to do? What are they going to come out with? And it was, yes, we've arrested a couple of ISIS terrorists.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. What?
Yeah.
Well, we do know that ISIS don't really exist.
Well, they don't. And if they do exist, ISIS is just another state of American military.
Exactly.
And, this goes back. Look, I know when the Twin Towers, which weren't hit by airplanes, was an inside job to create division across the world, because they had an agenda. I can't remember what it's called, but there's an agenda to attack and take over 7 countries where there is significant things within the earth in those places, i.e. in stargates and all manner of different things that they will waste life to get. Do you know what I mean?
Human life is cheap to them.
Oh, God. It's like we are living in no different time to the military and the police are being used as like in World War One in the trenches.
Yeah. It's when people go, oh, our military won't turn on us. You think, are you joking? They do not serve us. They don't serve us. They've got paymasters.
Yeah.
They've got paymasters. You know, they're not interested in saving us. They might come into conflict with themselves and go, oh, I don't know, I really don't want to do this. But when push comes to shove, they're order followers.
Yeah.
They're order followers. And if someone says, well, just shoot that child in the head there, they'll do it. They'll do it. They don't care. They really don't care, you know. And when you get, you know, the British and American soldiers that are going abroad and raping young girls in these Islamic countries.
Yeah.
You know, and they're even on video doing it again. I was raping this young girl, and my mate was shot her mum and dad in the other room, and then I shot her.
And we filmed it all.
We filmed it all, and the Americans can't believe it.
Yeah.
They go, they would never do that. They're heroes. Well, they've just freaking told you what they've done.
Yeah.
They've literally just told you.
Because they do what they want.
Exactly. They've got the guns. They've got the guns.
Yeah.
You know, what would happen if we all armed ourselves?
Yeah.
You know, made it more
we are. I mean, I'm not saying we will, but we are coming close to those times anyway. I feel, and in a way, that lawlessness exists in many parts of this country.
Yeah.
Victoria McGrath says COVID-19 smokescreen for all underground crimes. Bev Keating says staff at Guy's and St Thomas's hospitals had to sign confidential agreements because Boris did not have COVID-19. Well, I don't think he had it either. Michael Vickery, government already tried to police people's sex lives. He's got a link there for Facebook. Stella Edmondson says horses, donkeys, dogs mandatory to be chipped, and horses have to have passport as well as cats. Not mandatory, but loads of people have them chipped. Next stop, humans after they have had their pets chipped. And Matthew John says, are you the general public? It's in the language. General is a military term. Very interesting. We cover a lot of things. We didn't do two things we really wanted to, but we'll do that next time, young man.
We'll do that next time.
I'll tell you what, where's an hour gone? And we could have spent hours and hours.
Flies
it's just,
by, doesn't it? Flies by.
Yeah. You know, it's
2012. CERN in 2012 went off. It's made time go a lot faster. We've changed dimensions.
Yeah. Well, there's no veils between any dimensions anymore. It all exists as one.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, I'll tell you something now. The author, C.S. Lewis.
Yeah.
Right. We're always taught to look at his book, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the second in the series. The first one, The Magician's Nephew, that is the one people have to read because it's actually got portals in it. Where a little boy goes in a loft and then ends up in an enchanted forest, and there's all these different puddles, and he jumps in the puddles and goes into different realms, different worlds. So, you know, C.S. Lewis knew a lot more than what he made.
What was it called? The Magician's
Nephew. It's the first book in the series of like The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, the Narnia Chronicles.
Yeah,
the very first one, and they don't want you reading.
I haven't actually read that. I'm going to get that and have a read of that.
Oh, it's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal book. That teaches you about the dawn, the beginning of Narnia.
Yeah. Lynn says, Lynn Timlett says, brilliant. Thank you, Clint and Grant. Yeah, it has been amazing. Thank you, Grant. You're an absolutely incredible guest. Always love having you on.
Thank you very much.
And, you know, what I like about you is you speak the truth. And that's what I like, you know.
Yeah. Upsets a lot of people, but tough shit.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Shit, really.
You know, we're not here. It's not here to make friends. We're here to make community.
No. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, if anyone wants to get hold of you, how they get hold of you, Grant?
Well, they can either get hold of me on the Grant Hicks, the Authentic Psychic Medium page, or my other page, Psychic and Spiritual Awakening Community.
Brilliant.
I'm on that. And if they want to join my online past life regression workshop, contact me and I'll send them the link.
Yeah.
For it.
Victoria McGrath says, thank you, guys. That was great. And Penny Warwick says, you two are soulmates. And Alan Report says, thank you, Clint and Grant. Good stuff. Well, thank you.
Very welcome.
That's very kind.
Very welcome.
You've been brilliant. And in a month or so, we'll get you back on, Grant, and see what you're up to and everything. I love you coming on, and thank you very much for supporting the Inview. It's fantastic.
That's all right. Very welcome. Very welcome. Great big thank you to everyone out there for listening to us.
Yeah, and we will speak very soon.
Brilliant. Thanks, Clint.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Grant. Bye. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, is that Melanie?
Hello, hi.
Hello, Melanie. Sorry, we shut off just about 5 minutes over, but we're here.
All right, okay.
Melanie Kelloway. I know we had to move things around, but it's great to have you on again. You've been on the show a few times. Love you because you speak the truth again. You're a spiritual psychic medium, Reiki healer, qualified neck and back and shoulder masseuse, and a truth speaker as well. Plus, you work in the NHS, or not the NHS, but in the
care home industry.
Yes.
God help me.
How are you?
Literally. I'm good, tired, but I'm good. It's been a long, long shift. So, yeah, that's why I'm running late. But like you said, I'd love to join your chat. I've been listening to Grant Hicks, actually. Very interesting conversation.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. And I've read that book, what he was talking about, absolutely incredible about the portholes. I so believe in time dimension. I so believe in time travel, everything.
Me too.
And it's huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
And it's real. It's real.
Oh, totally. And it's almost like listening to you guys. It's like the great forces are at work at the moment, aren't they, to be honest?
Yeah.
It's huge. I mean, when he spoke about us, a lot of people carrying a lot of fear and emotions around it, this is what's going to make us stronger. And I thought people like you and myself and people that talk on your show, it's just having that inner strength and that inner knowing. And I think this is where all the lessons we've learned, all the knowledge we've had to learn in this lifetime and many other lifetimes, it's all come to surface now. And I think this is where we've got to really pull it to our challenge, definitely, and show them what we're really made of, I feel.
Yeah, and face the fear.
Oh, the faith is so strong. And I think knowing that we've got higher connections, knowing that we're here not alone, and there's higher forces at work, as I said, I think this is what's going to keep our heads above water, definitely. You can feel the dense energy here. It's awful.
You can. It's immensely dense. And the fearful, aggressive people that we surrounded with.
They're so vicious. They're vindictive. I mean, everybody's angry, frustrated. They're living in fear, and fear is one of the biggest emotions ever. It creates so much anger, so much diversity between people, and it makes you ill. I mean, that causes disease, dis-ease, or dis-ease with yourself, which manifests disease. And that's what they want. Any cough or snivel, they're going to think they got COVID.
Yeah. And you go to hospital, you will have COVID.
Of course you will. You want to go walk across the road and you've got COVID. And I agree completely with what Grant was saying. And it is difficult. But it's almost like, yes, they can try and take control of our bodies, but our minds and hearts, no.
Well, we have a soul.
Exactly.
We have a soul.
Our higher self, definitely. And I really believe in that. And I think we are being so challenged, even us now.
Yeah.
We've come here and and earned great knowledge, I think, from the different realms that we have acknowledgement of, the matrix and everything else. And I think this is time to put all that into practice, and really illuminate from this density that we live in completely.
Yeah. And when we come here, no one said it's going to be easy. And in relation to ourselves on the journey, all of us that are here doing what we're doing. If you said to me 15 years ago I'll be doing what I'm doing now, I wouldn't believe you. Do you know what I mean? But I was spiritual, but I didn't think. But it's such a driver in the piece of a piece of cog in a whole machinery that we're all part of. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, totally. And I agree when he says about the elders. I mean, totally. I mean, you've got to look at some of them. I mean, I don't know what your views are on shapeshifters, but my God, there's a few leeches there, I tell you, in Parliament. I mean, there's definitely higher agendas there and higher forces that work there to try and... We're all puppets, aren't we? Puppets on a string, that's what
shapeshifters have existed in our reality since the year dot.
I agree, and you only got to look at them. And I don't know about you, but lately there are some very, very... It's almost like they're soulless people.
Yeah.
I almost say like it's almost like a UFO have come over and landed millions and millions of soulless people, and they're here just to go along with the fear, to make us feel
to be switched on.
Of course they are.
To be switched on for it. And the worst soulless person that I feel isn't even human. I feel he's a dark grey reptilian. He's bloody
totally.
Dominic Cummings.
Oh, totally. You only got to look at him. And for God's sake, that's never normal.
No.
You know, and you think really the millions and millions of people sat at home watching BBC, absolutely brainwashed and living in complete fear of this asshole, excuse my language, on TV, literally brainwashing all these vulnerable, innocent people, these elderly people, as frightened to death to go outside and dying in their own homes because they're frightened they can't even get an appointment at the doctor. It's crazy.
But it's even worse than that, isn't it? Because all the people that are suffering with cancer that haven't had tests for heart disease or strokes or anything, all these people, where are they all? They're all sitting in their houses wondering what the bloody hell's going on, and when
they're petrified,
and the hospitals sit empty.
Yeah, I mean, I will be honest. I mean, working in the care home industry, as I said, I know a load of nurses. They are literally being sent home or on bank because the wards are empty.
Yeah.
Even the A&E, it's absolute crap. I mean, where they're getting these images from that they're putting on telly is horrendous. There's no one in ITU. All the wards are empty.
Yeah.
And you've got millions and millions of people. They show you what they want to show you.
Yeah.
It's all filtered, even the newspapers.
Yeah.
Negative, 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 negative.
Yeah.
Horrendous.
Yeah. And to strike fear. It's fear porn.
Yes.
To strike fear.
They got us where they think they got. I mean, millions of people, they got them where they want to. They wear a mask, they're controlled, they're vaccinated, they're this, they're that. I mean, you could not get no more denser or lower than that. They might as well just give up.
But I think, as I said to Grant, I think we are in the throes of it finishing.
Oh, totally.
Because I think light has won. Even though it doesn't look like it, I feel it has. Because
we are.
This is like darkness throwing the rattle out the pram.
Oh, totally. And you know, and I know the powers of that is unbelievable.
Yes.
You know, and you know, like you were saying about the films. I mean, you go back to all these films; it's all been predicted, all of it.
Yeah.
And it is light versus dark, isn't it? To be honest,
it is.
I mean, and to be honest, the only thing we've come to in this world is our freedom. Our soul is pure, is free.
Yeah.
And
after going through, as I was saying before, after going through where I feel that when we were birthed back into this world, we didn't go into the right families.
Oh, totally.
We went to the wrong families that were there to do a job on us, to stop us actually being who we are now.
Of course. It's you can see the bigger picture, can't you?
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like we're standing away from it. Do you know, it's almost like you've been there before and done this before.
Well, we have.
That's how
and
I feel.
The mad thing is, we have done this before, Melanie. We have done it.
You can feel it. You can feel. I don't know what it is. I'm just floating through it, though, Clint.
Yeah, me too.
It doesn't bother me. It doesn't fear me. I'm literally floating through it.
Because the one thing, and I say it time and time again, that when this came out, it's not real.
No, you knew it. I knew it in my gut feeling, and the amount of people that are saying to me, "This ain't real." You only got to look at them. And it's interesting you talk about the military, because I have quite a few family in the military, and a 2-meter distance is military. What happens is they've got the drones that go over when they're actually in action in Iraq or Vietnam or wherever they are. The drones pick up the heat of the bodies only 2 meters apart.
Yeah.
And that's military procedure.
Yeah.
And they're putting the fear of God into everybody. I mean, like you were saying, you only got to walk down the street and everyone jumps a mile, think you're contagious.
Yeah, if you're in a supermarket, you cough.
Oh, it's awful. But you know what? I just look at them, I look right into their soul, and I think, just get over yourself, because I just walk around and I know I'm safe, because there isn't no disease.
No.
If there was a disease, why aren't there no yellow bins and these professional bins that you put outside everywhere with these masks going in?
Absolutely. They're not anywhere. They're all over pavements.
Nowhere.
They're all over pavements.
They're in the shopping trolleys, they're in lakes, they're in the sea.
They're in lakes where there is ducks and bloody fish all getting caught up in people's masks.
Throwing them everywhere. So you're telling me that if there was such a deadly virus in our air, in our atmosphere, why in the hell are they being chucked all over the floor?
Yeah.
Because it's nice.
And then why do you see Boris Johnson doing his woodworking class where he looked a complete twat, planing a bit of wood, with no mask on, no gloves, everyone in the room not wearing anything?
Because they know know it's not real.
Well, but of course they do, because they're just taking the piss. That's all they're doing.
Exactly. And then they bang their mask on when they think it's necessary. And then they do their speech. He don't even know what he's talking about. He's talking out of his ass. He really is talking out of his ass.
Well, you know, Dominic Cummings' next great enlightening phase is tomorrow when dickhead Boris comes on screen, and they're going to be doing the traffic light system, which is green, amber and red, which obviously means that it's highly volatile and we're going to shut it down. And this is supposedly on 81 Dead.
Oh, bollocks, in it. I mean, you know, the sad thing is, though, like you were saying earlier, the saddest thing is separating families. But they're allowed to go fox hunting, they're allowed to go racing, they're allowed to do what they want to do.
They're allowed to stand in a bar, one of 17 in Parliament, till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly. Like you said, people work hard all week. We're taxed. We're the highest tax country in Europe. We've got tax on everything. Our futures children, if we're allowed to have children, then will be paying for all this.
That's a very interesting statement that comes directly from what Gemma was saying, that the fact, I think they will ban sex.
Yeah, they will. Well, they're trying to, aren't they?
Yeah.
And with all due respect, I mean, all these people, I mean, I have nothing against them, but all these people, same-sex marriages and all this kind of thing, how are they going to have children if they're IVF?
Yeah.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
And you know and I know.
Yeah, but this goes back to even Dr. Mengele days, back in the Nazi concentration camps.
Yeah.
Of crossbreeding and also to create a supreme race.
Exactly. And you know and I know that IVF is from a different place. Their souls are from a different place.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not conceived naturally, they're not conceived out of love. It's a different way. So that is a higher energy again.
Yeah.
And it is almost, like I said, it's like the matrix divide. It's almost like we're people like you and I, the open people, the awake people, whatever you want to call it. We know the secrets. We know the dirty lies that's going on.
Yeah.
But sadly, the millions and millions of people that are not opening their eyes and not understanding and living in fear.
Because what they're doing is they're so fed up with they're so fed up and lost because there is no leadership. No one's actually at the helm of this boat at all. It's just drifting around in the rough seas. Do you know what I mean?
They don't know where they're coming or going. I mean, one minute they're allowed out, next minute they're not. Then they are. I mean, in my care home, I mean, emotionally, on a physical level, yes, it damages me because I see families not being able to see their mums at the age of 102, 103, and they can't hug you. Virtual hug. What in the hell is that about? A virtual hug. You're telling me if there was such a deadly virus out there, we'd all be sudden dead by now. It is crazy. And to see a grown woman or a grown man crying because they can't hold their new great-great-granddaughter or great-great-grandson or their son or their daughter, and those people are destroying people's lives. Yeah.
And that's why it's important that there's no medium in. I'm not saying it because of this show. There isn't a medium like this out there. Do you know what I mean? There's lots of people say lots of things, but there is, a lot of people are saying a lot of stuff, but it's actually education factor. It comes down to what Grant was saying, that it's put in front of their face and they still don't see it.
No, and it gets me because I can see it from a different perspective, and it's almost like I can't explain, but I will try and explain. It's almost like my higher self. I can just see, I can sense, I can feel their emotions, I can feel their pain. And for an empath myself, a very sensitive person myself, it is crucifying to watch, but it makes me frustrated and angry that they're not seeing through it. Bollocks for that. I would hug my mum. I would hug my dad. That might be the last time they ever see them. Don't let some idiot like that dictate why and how I cannot hold my own mum and my own dad. It is just. But sadly, people go along with it. They're frightened to death. They're all huddled up in masks and gloves, visors. You're telling me that a piece of plastic will prevent a virus from attacking it? Well, the COVID knows that.
Well, I'll tell you what, wearing a mask is probably one of the most dangerous things to have because the billions and billions of viruses in your mouth don't go anywhere.
And you're breathing it all back in your body. That is why we breathe out, exhale, and inhale. It's a part of who we are. And the fact that you can't even go outside, like you said, in the fresh air, for God's sake, we all know it's polluted anyway by chemical trails.
Absolutely.
And the water.
And we know we sit indoors and we eat chemically enhanced nanotechnology food.
Exactly. And that will get worse.
There is a few. I'll go through a few comments on here. Matthew John says Mars has been in Aries. Matthew John also says 21 levels above government. There are most definitely puppets. It's a theatre show, a fucking crap one at that. Deborah Brotherton says brainwashing and scaremongering not only the elderly but children too. Gemma Jane Brooks says also many people with pre-existing conditions do not resuscitate orders put on them against their will.
Oh, trust me, I've been there. I've actually witnessed it.
Have you?
Yeah.
That's horrendous, isn't it?
And with the flu vaccination.
That is terrible. And they're plugging that. Go and get a flu vaccination. Well, how Joe that they haven't put COVID into it?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
You think about, for years and years and years, the government has blundered and blamed the elder generation. I have people in my past care in this country that live well into their hundreds because they're a strong generation. They live through the war, for God's sake.
Yeah.
They live through. They had no food, rationing. They lived through hell, and yet they survived it.
Yeah.
Because they're strong.
Yeah.
And they're trying to penalise them. And then they got the
but they didn't have a McDonald's or a KFC round the corner to go to eat.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
And then they wonder why everyone's obese.
Yes.
Think about it. We had a massive pandemic or epidemic, and the first thing that opens is McDonald's. Why? Because it's got a share in the oil company. All the oil companies got a massive share.
Absolutely.
They're losing their profits. They want money, money, money. They don't care about our health. They don't care if we've got diabetes or heart conditions or overweight or mental health.
No.
They want their money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Money,
and that's what they do. They go to Afghanistan, invade it, desecrate ancient statues, ancient sites that's been there for thousands and thousands of years, and build McDonald's. Yeah,
exactly. And then they're blaming the COVID people with diabetes, but they're feeding it. Did you see the queue? It was like 4 hours long. We've just come out of a pandemic. They haven't been able to see their family or friends. Bog rolls and pasta was non-existent, basically. Yeah. And then they go to McDonald's. Well, whoopee for the Brits.
Yeah, absolutely.
That just sums them right up, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it does.
How low and how sad is that?
Yeah. Michael J. Vickery says, remember that all through history there have been tyrants and murderers, and for a time they seem invincible, but in the end they're always full. Always. And that comes from Mahatma Gandhi. Not literally from him, but through Michael. Penny Warwick says, and MP's bars are still open. It really bugs me, that this government are doing all of this by not consulting anyone in Parliament. No. And what I think is absolutely disgraceful and poor is that the Labour Party, who are the next biggest party there, Keir Starmer, should be ripping them to pieces. Do you know what I mean? And then you might believe in somebody, but at the moment, you don't believe in any of them.
No, you don't, because to be honest, they're all out for themselves. Like you said, they all just give themselves a pay rise. When you've got people losing their livelihood,
I'm disgusted. I'm absolutely lost for words with that. I really am.
Well, are you though, really? Because you know what they're like. They're all money bleachers. All of them.
I know.
That's all it's about.
This is to stay at home, not go anywhere.
Exactly. But you think of the bigger scale. Look at what's really, truly going on. That's what I'm trying to do. I really step out of that closed, tight-net circle, and I take myself out of that closed-net circle, and I stand outside and observe. And you think of the cretins that are being exposed right now. You think of really, it's almost like a massive, huge digger have come in and just dug them all up and under-earthed all the villains, all the critters out there.
Yeah.
It's all coming out. And it really will. And God help everybody. Because, the banks are going, the big shops are going.
There won't be any shops. There won't be any hospitality. Nothing. We won't be able to, we won't be able to go and have a beer in a pub because they won't exist.
No. They'll all be turned into flats, I expect.
Yeah.
If there's any money around.
And then there'll be a curfew and the military will be on the street.
Of course they will. And all the alcohol in the shops are bigger. I mean, then they're saying people drink too much alcohol. Are you surprised?
Well, I'm not. No.
You're taxed up to your friggin' eyeballs. You're taxed on your wages, your house, your car, your food, your clothes. Everything you eat is taxed. Everything you earn is taxed. And you're telling me on the Friday night you can't go down a shop and buy yourself a beer, and even that's taxed.
Yeah, I know. But, you know, before this pandemic was here, before we had all this, which has been planned for a very long time, which somebody mentioned earlier on, is the fact that, you know, before that, when we could go out and we could be and do what we want to do, what did people do? People are not, they're dissatisfied with their life. They're dissatisfied with what they're doing for a living. They're dissatisfied and lost people. They're getting hammered in Bristol, London, or wherever, and laying on pavements.
Yeah.
Or drugs or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
But you know, it's interesting you say about can't even get it out now. It's been a long day. They're so unhappy with themselves. You think right at the beginning of COVID, actually, I was liberated in a way because I felt so free. You know, I'm not one of these people that have loads of credit cards and drive a big 4x4. I've got the big extension. I go to America 6 times a year, or have a Gucci bag or Gucci. That's not me at all.
It's all shit.
It's all shit, and have this and have that. At the end of the day, I mean, people are panicking. They couldn't have a takeout, for God's sake, or go for a meal for a restaurant. I'm like, what planet are you on? At the end of the day, the air was clear. People were, you know, you felt alive. For the first time ever, I felt alive. I could actually breathe the air. It was amazing. Yeah. I could feel the change.
Yeah.
And I think, oh my God, you know, and people were, and I think, no, I actually live quite humbly anyway, because I feel fulfilled.
To be honest, and you agree with this, in a way, I know I can speak for myself and probably like you. I know you do your job and all sorts of that.
Yeah.
And everything, but we're quite isolated people anyway because of who we are.
Exactly. I don't need loads of people around me. I don't need to go and get wasted every weekend.
No.
You know, I don't live my life looking at other people say, I want to be like that. Oh, I got to fit with that. No. In fact, I feel quite alienated sometimes, but I'm okay with that because in myself, I'm content and I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be like everybody else, and I know I'm not like everybody else.
Yeah.
When you can see, sense, and spirit like I do on a 24-hour basis.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Right, that's a different world in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's real. It's real. That's the thing. It's real. And what people don't realise is that I keep banging on about it, but that is inside you when you open up is more real and is a key for you to survive what we are in.
It's a surviving mechanism. That's what I see it is. It's given me so much strength. The fact that I have this ability, like yourself, to see right through the screen of deception. I can see right through it.
Well, even if you watched anything on the news, you'd see the story behind it.
I know. And is that, I always call it the inner knowing.
Yeah.
And it gives me great strength.
Well, that's because you know, really switched on people are not from this planet.
Exactly. Oh, the amount of times I said I don't want to be here. Hundreds and hundreds
of times. When's the ship coming? I want to go home.
Yeah, I'm literally beaming up Scotty now. I need to go.
Yeah.
But I know I'm here for a purpose. I'm here for my family, my daughter. And
also you're doing a lot of good for people, and you're doing readings online. You're helping people. You know, like myself and everything. We're all doing something. Do you know? Even this is doing something. Do you know what I mean? Rather than nothing.
And you know what? I go into my home where I work, and you can feel it when I pull it. I can feel it down the street. I can feel the sadness, the depression, the loneliness, the deceit. I can feel all of it.
Yeah.
And I walk in there, and I just feel so illuminated with love and energy. And I think, bollocks to you all.
Yeah.
And I go in there, and I make people laugh, and I hug them, and I hold their hands. And to me, that is priceless.
It is.
And that's what I'm here for.
It is. And of course,
it feels great.
They come from a generation that's very different to what we're in. Completely different. They're oblivious to what we're in a way.
And in a way, sadly, there's a lot of dementia around, which we all know what dementia is, chemicals, vaccinations, mercury in the fillings, food, we could go on and on and on. But sadly, those people, in a way, is a blessing because they're unaware of what's really going on in reality. Yeah. They're in their world, in their homes. They only know today. They don't know tomorrow or yesterday. They live in their world today.
Yeah.
So they're unaware of what's going on in the shops and they're unaware of it.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's a blessing because they're there in their little bubble, in their own little rooms, and that's where they're safe.
Yeah, and they're in their little planet, i.e. the home.
Yeah, and when they go with blessing and love and light because they're gone.
I think what you're doing there is absolutely hugely immense and almost a gatekeeper role in itself. I've got a few comments. Matthew John says, "Why are we all still paying tax?" He also says,
yeah, I agree.
And he also says the HMRC is a private corporation, the same as the Bank of England. Penny Warwick says the manipulation is powerful. Well, it's only powerful, Penny, if we think it is. I actually don't feel the power. I don't feel that the manipulation is powerful.
No,
I laugh at it because I look through it and I see that it isn't powerful. It's weak as anything.
I can't believe you said that. Do you know, the other day I was walking through the village and everyone had their bloody visors on. And I took my mask off and I took a deep breath. It was a beautiful sunny day, the blue sky, and I thought, sod the lot of you. And I walked around, I felt like I was 10 foot tall, and I thought, yeah, I am going to breathe the air. Yes, I am going to live my life, and it felt great.
Yeah, we cannot give it power.
I'm not gonna do it.
Absolutely, we can't do it. Matthew John says, if you're in a group of 6, it's okay, but if you happen to find yourselves in a group of 7, well, that's it. You're fucked. Matthew.
Have you seen the new advert, the Dettol advert that's been axed?
No, I haven't seen.
Did you see that? There was a thing on Facebook. Sorry to interrupt you. There was a thing on. I don't know if it's real, but apparently there was a Dettol advert on telly. You know, everyone's gone OCD mad. Have you noticed how low the prices of disinfectant is and bleaches?
Oh yeah.
You know, let's all bleach our hands and get it all through our skin and system, straight into our kidneys. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I don't use chemicals. It's all deadly for the body, as
absolutely.
You know. Chlorine, disinfectant. I mean, that bleach and that hand sanitizer, that's 75% alcohol.
Yeah.
Straight into your skin.
Yeah.
Skin absorbs everything straight into your bloodstream.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're axing the Dettol advert because there's actually 7 around the table, including the cat. That's 8. And I was like, are you having a laugh?
Yeah. Matthew John says the baby boomers generation was used as a cash cow for Big Pharma. The only reason most of them live so long is because they've been drugged up to their eyes, or they're blood drinkers, basically.
I agree that the amount of I tell you what, Clint, if you could see the pharmaceutical van that comes to our place, you would not believe, to the brim of boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of tablets. Poor sods, leave it, let them go. And also, you know and I know, when you cheat Life Circle, when you don't let them go, when you resuscitate them when they're meant to go, you're cheating that person's blueprint for the next life, if they have one. Yeah. So you imagine the bigger scale of that, how they're jeopardizing our circle of life.
I know. Well, they think they are, but they're not going to.
No, hopefully not. When I see people being resuscitated forcibly against their will and they wanted to go, you imagine what that jeopardizes for when they go again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I believe in that, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I completely understand what you're saying. I know for a lot of people it might be very difficult to understand, but I do understand what you're saying.
And as a medium, as yourself, when you connect to spirit that have had that experience, I mean, sometimes when I get my messages through, they're so intense of how they pass is overwhelming. And I can feel that. So you imagine what discomfort and pain they're taking that memory with them.
Absolutely.
Horrendous.
Absolutely.
So go on.
Bev Keating says Keir Starmer was head of the CPS when Jimmy Savile's let off. He's a pedo protector.
Yeah.
And she also says this is an interesting statement. Penny Warwick says they want a Muslim state of obedience. Now, do you know what? That's about the 3rd or 4th person that said something like that to me.
I agree.
Not tonight, but at various times in the last week or so.
I agree. And do you know, those words have actually passed my lips probably about 3 times in the last week.
Well, a mask is a beginning.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, it's like China. It's regimental. Everything's regimental.
Yeah.
You're clocked what you do, what you wear, who you sleep with, who you don't sleep with, how many kids you're going to have, what you eat, what you don't, what you do.
Yeah. And we're going to tell you what you can do.
Oh yeah. This is how it's going to be right now. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. You can only earn this. You can only eat that. You can go there at a certain time, and you can only have so many people in your house.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how many millions and billions of people are going to protest about that?
Absolutely. Well, there is right now millions around the world protesting.
Hundreds of millions.
There is millions, but you don't see it because it's not advertised.
Of course, they're not going to tell you. They just want to show you people dying in ITU when the fact is empty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where they get this? I mean, look at the Nightingale Hospital. I know 3 people in the military. It's actually empty.
Yeah.
How did they predict in March?
There's 7 of them empty. They're going to be used for something else now, apparently.
Of course they are. How did they predict then in March there was going to be another lockdown in September, October? How do they know that in March?
Because it's already planned. They planned that into the equation, haven't they?
It's all planned.
Yeah.
This has been planned for years.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Grant said exactly the same thing. I agree with both of you. Matthew John says, I want to have a coffee with you, Mel. You're an amazing lady.
Well, let me know. I'll join you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need 2 people at a table, though.
Yeah.
I love it.
He also says, solitude is very addictive. And Deborah Brotherton says they don't even care about the predators, paedophiles that are patrolling our streets and abducting young children. They are just focusing on all this bullshit COVID-19 rather than protecting our children in the world. I totally agree. And that's one of the things that is going on in the background while this and Brexit and COVID and all the other things that are Black Lives Matter and all the rest of it.
It's a smoke screen, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. The UK government has now more power than McDonald's. That's a fact in law. And Matthew John says the alleged Third World War is between the Christians and the Muslims. Research Albert Pike, he predicted the first 2 world wars. Now, look, I know for a fact, and it's been going on a very, very, very long time. There has been a war with Christians and Muslims for years and years. Look what happened at Jerusalem.
This is what I'm saying. Look at even back to the Romans, for God's sake. You go way, way, way back. Even then, men were sleeping with men and women were sleeping. In fact, you were a hierarchy if you slept with a man, not a woman. Even back then, it was a rival of power and control, head control. You had the rich, you had the poor. Look at the Queen, for God's sake. Where the hell is she? She's buggered off. Head of state, my ass. Well,
apparently, she's back at work. And she's not very happy.
She run out of money, have she?
I don't believe in any of them. Sorry. I think they should all get on a boat and go back to Germany, basically.
I think they do. Do you know, it's interesting you say that, Tim, because the other day I read an article about Diana, and bless her soul, there's actually a documentary on tonight which I'm going to record. It's on at 9 o'clock, I think.
Yeah.
About the original interview she did years and years ago. And they're saying actually that she was aware of Jimmy Savile, which I'm sure she was, obviously, because Charles and Andrew and all that were in with it all, and the Queen.
Well, and Jimmy Savile spent a lot of time at Buckingham Palace.
Exactly. And she had actual evidence on tape of the children confessing of what was happening.
Yeah.
And they reckon that's why she got killed.
Well, I think I've heard that as well, but also think it also comes down to the fact that she was also pregnant, 3 months pregnant with Dodie's child, and that she was upsetting a lot of multi-billionaire companies in relation to against landmines.
Yeah,
there's 3 big reasons.
Of course, look at what she was doing over there. I mean, she was unique. She was something else.
She was. She completely was.
Of it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As soon as you speak the truth, you vanish. You're gone. You got rid
absolutely.
Of. Like
that's it.
Said, life means nothing.
No.
Nothing.
No, they just get rid of you.
You're just a number on a council tax list and a payroll. That's all you are.
Yeah, that's it. But even then, Dodie was a Muslim.
Yes.
And there's no way that the royal family would allow that to happen. And that's how deep-rooted this is.
Exactly.
It's so wrong. It's so wrong.
And yet millions of people dote over her. And I'm like, for God's sake, sort yourselves out.
I know.
You know, and it is sad because, again, she was true person. She was amazing. The energy that come from that woman was incredible.
I didn't know her, but I did, as you did, as millions and millions did, in relation to, I come back from Truro on holiday early to watch her coffin go through the streets. And that's where the Queen refused to lower the flag or even address her.
I remember.
She wants horsewhipping. It's disgusting. But they're above the law. They're above everything, aren't they? That's what they think.
Of course they are.
Until the days that people actually, I'm not condoning them doing it, until the days that people rise up against it. Do you know what I mean?
They will.
I feel is coming.
Oh, they will. I mean, it's interesting because I don't know if you've read the 2012 book. It's from Diana Cooper.
Yeah, I have.
It is immense. And I think even then people are, oh my God, the world's going to actually know. This is when it all started.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been going on for hundreds of years, you know, all this planet. But now the 2012 was about people starting to actually wake up to this. All the banks were cashless society, again, more control. For God's sake, they're on about bacteria on money.
I know, they're saying it stays there for days and people, you know, get rid of money.
They believe in it. They believe
and
it.
Your phone, you shouldn't have a phone because you could spread it and all sorts.
Just go around in a bubble outfit and be done with it.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. We should all become astronauts and go and live on Venus.
Exactly. Or Mars, where they've all been already.
Yeah, where they are right now, and they are on Venus as well. Every planet in our solar system has life.
Of course they are.
Gemma Brooks says we ought to have a big meet up, the Inview Army. Yeah, I totally agree.
That'd be good.
Matthew John says, yes, Gemma, need an awake venue. Matthew John also says Albert Pike was a Freemason who designed the world wars. Penny Warwick says life is cheap. And she also says when she died the morning, they're talking about Diana, when she died the morning as a sadness was incredible. It was a conscious shift. It at a scale beyond belief that's never been seen on this planet. Bev Keating also says, imagine having a Muslim half-sibling to the future King of England. There is proof Diana was murdered. Well, she clearly was murdered. I've read many books on it. Diana fascinates me because she was the first person I've ever seen that I would class has extraterrestrial angel energy.
Well, it's interesting because I've gone all cold when you just said that. It's all, like I said, illuminating. I could just see her aura. There was something about her. She was such a powerful
she was
force.
And
huge.
She was powerful. She was very attuned to her spiritual self. She was also very attuned to the one thing that they try and destroy in our reality, our Kundalini energy, a sexual energy, if you like, which is what darkness preys on constantly and stops us in from an early age. Oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, or whatever. You know, you're being told straight away, you mustn't touch your body, you mustn't do this, you mustn't do that. And clearly it's about self-exploration, it's about rediscovery, it's about understanding. Do you know what I mean?
She was on a mission here. I tell you now, she was sent on a mission here, and she agreed to that mission.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because she knew she was going to go. She knew she was going to go early. She knew it because basically she'd done what she had to do. Her job was here, and you know she's up there somewhere, probably looking down, and she got two beautiful boys.
She is more powerful. Look, put it this way: if they rounded you, me, and lots of other people, Matthew, John, loads and loads of other people up. And got rid of us all, we'd be more powerful on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. But we're here in our human bodies, as you say, our vessels, if you like, to do good here. And like you said, you know, even though my job is very stressful at times, I mean, I go home crying sometimes because I can't take it. Yeah. But on a higher level, I know I've chose this, and I know I'm sending those souls over happy, loved, and not alone. And to me, that is the biggest reward ever that I'll ever have. I think what you're doing is immense. I think that Thank you.
I think that you're an immense being, Melanie. As Grant is an immense being. All the people who come on the show are amazing. And I mean, I'm so pleased and glad you're connected to the Inview and that your voice is heard, because it needs to be. Do you know what I mean?
And I get quite frustrated at times when I can't speak the truth, and I do feel that's difficult for me sometimes.
And luckily, this outlet is here to be able to speak the truth, which is really good.
To voice our truth,
yes.
And it feels great. You can almost feel it in your throat chakra. You're feeling that release because you need to scream out and get it out there. Because what I call moguls of the earth, they just do not. They look at you and do not understand where you're coming from.
No.
And you just might as well just waste your breath, really. Sadly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not gonna.
No.
So I thank you for holding these shows like this. It gives everyone good hope.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you know, it's opening a dialogue, opening the view on everything and anything, really. When nothing is shunned from here at all. Matthew John said, just remember the protest is to be for testing. Learning the law and who you truly are is more important.
I agree.
Gemma Jane Britt says, Diana was a caring Cancerian. Margaret McCann, hi Clint, everyone. Hope all is having a blessed evening. Penny Warwick says, thank you, great show. We have to go now, unfortunately, Melanie. I'm sorry I could talk like Grant, I could talk for hours. We've got it's been immensely powerful in what you spoke about and what Grant and we got one more guest coming up, which always the guest in the end of the evening is brings a bit of lightheartedness, which I think is really important.
Yeah.
In relation to, because these are all very heavy subjects, but we try and deal with it in a fun aspect and hold space and not give it credence. So,
and I agree, and it is about this is where all our knowledge comes into one. This is where we need to put it into practice. You know, the higher beings, the higher realms, the extraterrestrial, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
The elders, higher. That this is where we need to have faith and believe in that, because we're a part of it.
Yeah. Matthew John says, lovely Melanie, big love sister. Deborah Brother says, thank you and God bless.
God bless to everyone as well.
Well, you've been amazing. So if anyone wants to get a hold of you, Melanie, I know that you're on weekly on Facebook doing readings and things on live.
It's great. Again, I've met some amazing people on there, and you know, again, the great feeling is even though I might have had a long day at work, I just find the energy to do that, and it helps me clear my negative energy. Yes, it does. It does me good as well to connect and give comfort. So yeah, I do an Ascension page, which is fantastic. I share with Pamela Price. She's amazing.
She's coming on here in a few weeks. Yeah.
Oh, great.
She's lovely, friends. Pamela.
We are. She's amazing. Very inspirational lady. I just love it. And I'm for some reason I find my channeling has changed again. I feel I'm channeling differently. So that's quite interesting.
It's all about upgrading. It's all about changing.
Upgrading.
Because people don't understand, and you know this is what I do. When people say when nothing ever changes, it stays the same.
No.
Nothing stays the same. We change. That's it.
Yeah. I can feel it. I can feel the difference in myself. Well. It's amazing. And it just feels great. I just feel I have a higher connection somehow. I can't explain it, but it's just a great feeling.
Yeah.
But
it's fantastic to have you on board. And Gemma Jane Britt says, this is the best Inview episode so far. That's very kind. Thank you, Gemma.
Oh, bless her.
Margaret McCann says, God bless you, Melanie. You've been amazing, Melanie. Thank you very much. Again, we will catch up with you probably in a month or so's time, see what you're up to, and to bring your truth out into the arena. So
totally. Watch your space.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for being involved tonight.
Take care, and thank you for the lovely comments. Much appreciated.
It's lovely. And
we
will speak soon.
Yeah, likewise.
All
Bye.
Right. Thanks, Melanie. Bye. Wow. Amazing guest. Absolutely incredible. That is Melanie Kelloway, who works as a carer in a home and everything, but also works a loads in spirituality and does readings on Facebook Live and things like that as well. Lovely lady. Grant earlier on, immense being. Again, another person doing a lot of great work at the moment. And it's so fantastic of these people connected to the Inview, and it's so fantastic that you're enjoying it, because that's what it's about. It's about learning, it's about education, it's about embracement, and it's about us coming together as a community. And and we've got a special guest coming up that I can't even remember his name. Mine's gone blank. But we always have what you would call a light-hearted guest at the end of the evening. I don't know who this is. I've never spoke to this person before. I'm just quickly looking at my notes. This is this is Dick Weener, who is a window cleaner. And I don't know how he got the number for the interview, but hello, Dick. How are you, Dick?
Hello.
Hello.
Dick, how are you?
Oh, sorry, is it Dick?
It's Dick Weener. Well,
Dick Weener.
It'll be Weener. It'll be Dick. Yes, Dick.
Well,
Weener.
yeah, because Weener in American is Dick, isn't it?
Apparently so, yes. But
so
my
it'd be
parents
Dick.
Didn't understand that at the time. No, Dick Weener.
Dick. And how did you get this number, Dick Weener?
Oh, somebody put me onto you. You see, because
right.
I understand you need some window cleaning.
Well, yeah, I do actually. I thought you might see life through a different window.
See what through a different window?
Life, you know.
Life. I thought you said light.
No, life.
Yeah, so normally, after I've cleaned the windows, you get a lot of light through them.
Oh, excuse me, I sneezed. So where are you based, Dick Weener?
I'm based somewhere in deepest West Sussex.
Oh wow, that's amazing. And is that what you've done all your life? Clean windows?
Well, I used to clean windows, but I don't anymore. You see, I have the Weener Window Cleaning School of Excellence. You see,
really, the Weener Window Cleaning School of Excellence.
Yes. See, we put it out in the national paper, you see, for anyone who wants to become a window cleaner. You see, they have to get scrutinized and what have you, and then they come down and board at the School of Excellence for a month.
For a month? So it takes a month to get them to be a window cleaner?
Well, it takes a little bit longer than that, but they go out and about for 2 weeks after that. You see, the first part one is all about the sponge and its properties. That's 2 weeks.
Is it a special sponge?
Well, it's all about the sponge. And part two is about water and detergent. That's 2 weeks course. And
of course, the detergent's not harmful for the environment, obviously.
No. We only use biodegradable detergents.
Oh, right. Yeah. And don't you use one of those things that you scar across the window? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a sponge.
No, but then they have a rubber thing, don't they?
Oh, yes. They have a windscreen wiper, yes.
A windscreen wiper, that's it. Like on a car, but you're holding it in your hand.
That's it, yes.
Gemma Jane Brooks has a question, actually. Is Dick's dad called Dick? So it's Big Dick and Little Dick?
No, his name's
You come from a long line of Dicks?
Absolutely. A very long line of Dicks. We go all the way back to the 5th century AD, I think.
Really? Wow. Were you all window cleaners?
No, just a lot of Dicks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Part three of the course is that's a 3 week course, and it's all about the ladder. Right.
So, I mean, what do you learn in 3 weeks about a ladder? How to get on it? How to climb it?
It's all done step by step, isn't it? Which is the best one, a wooden one, or aluminium one, or plastic.
Yeah, but you can't. You see, the law states that you can't go over a certain height. I think it's about 20 meters on a ladder, and then you have to go on a scaffold or whatever. Or do you have? Does your enterprise? Does Dick have an extension? You know, an extension pole.
Does he have an extension? Well, not that I know of. No, I mean,
you know, you have one of those things that you can. You know, one of those things you can pull out and extend it and up so you can with a brush on it, so you can do top windows. Sorry?
I thought this was a family show. And you're talking about dick extensions.
You know what I mean? There's people have their pole in their hand, and
Sure,
there's
there are lots of people who have their poles in their hands.
they have their pole in their hand because they can't reach, can they? So they get it.
If it's happening, yes. Well, yeah, the poles that we use, they're sort of telescopic.
That's the ones. Telescopic. I was going to say telescopic dicks. They're not. They're telescopic poles.
Well, that's it. Yes. And you see, I myself, I can only clean bungalows and ground floor flats.
You don't do the high stuff.
No, I don't like heights.
Oh, right. Well, you don't have to get up there though if you've got an extension.
Well, that's it. That depends how high an extension goes, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I suppose it is.
See, what happened was I first started when I was about 7 years old,
7?
In the back garden. Well, yeah, I was in the back garden, you see, and I was standing on top of my tipper truck Tonka toy, cleaning the windows at the shed, and I fell off.
You fell off? Oh, God. So that sort of, that must have been indelible on your memory.
Well, yes, it certainly was. So I don't like step ladders or anything that goes above 2 feet, so I can't step off, you see.
Well, yeah, I can understand
I'm a little on the short side.
Matthew John wants to know: Do you occasionally stick your wiener in? Deborah Brotherton says telescopic extensions, and Penny Warwick says it's hard to extend when it's cold.
It certainly is. Have you ever come out of the sea?
Well, yes. I mean, but you wouldn't actually clean windows on a house in the sea, would you? Because the sea would wash it.
Well, yeah, you'd get salt all over the windows. It's
well,
not
yes,
a good idea.
Absolutely. That would be a bit of a mess, wouldn't it?
Last Monday, I took some students to a neighbour's greenhouse.
All right.
Told them to clean all the glass.
Okay.
I should be back in 1 hour. So on my return, they weren't even there.
Were they?
They had disappeared.
What, had they gone through the glass into some time portal?
No, all the panes were missing. They were in the pub clearing out the pint glasses. They all passed.
Really? So they took the glass out of the greenhouse and took it to the pub and exchanged it for pint glasses?
No. It's a play on words, you silly boy.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah, I was a bit slow there, wasn't I?
They were in the pub. I don't know.
Gemma Jane Brooks says,
sounds like you need more than your windows cleaning.
Is it true, Gemma Jane Brooks says, is it true when you were little, you were 7, obviously, when you were little, did you have chicken pox and was you called Spotted Dick?
I was called a lot of things, and Spotted Dick wasn't one of them.
And Gemma also says Dick was covered in calamine lotion. Didn't that smear on the grass? Grass?
No. I don't understand that one at all.
Well, I don't either, but I thought I'd say it. It just sounded quite funny.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I need mental help. You never know. Maybe I could come and do a window cleaning course.
Yeah, you'd be most welcome.
Would I be any good at it, do you think?
I don't know. Possibly. One would have to try you
out. So when I turn up on day 1, what do you do with me?
Well, I do. You got to sit you down at the desk, and you watch an hour and a half long video about a sponge.
Right, an hour and a half video about a sponge. So, what, all types of sponge or this particular sponge?
Oh, all types of sponge and which ones you would use for different kinds of window panes and that sort of thing.
And obviously, you have to have a good movement with your wrist, don't you?
Well, yeah, you do. You need to have a very good movement. A very strong wrist is preferred, yes.
Oh, dear. Well, I mean, you know, particularly because you're going to be having a lot of exertion throughout the day once you start training, aren't you?
Well, it does get very hard from time to time when you get quite a few students there who don't seem to understand what you're trying to do. You know,
really?
You're going through these courses. You're sending them through these courses, and they don't seem to understand. Why do I need to know all this if I'm only cleaning windows?
Well, that's almost like that song, wasn't it? When I'm cleaning windows.
Yes, that was George Formby, wasn't it?
George Formby, that's it. Yeah. Classic window cleaner. Gemma Jane Brooks says you put it on chicken pox, cameline lotion, apparently. Deborah Brothers says step by step. I don't know what she means by that. And Gemma Jane Brooks wants to know, how much does Dick charge? And Matthew John says, how long does your pole have to be to join? How long does your pole have to be to join you school?
It doesn't have to have a very big pole. It can be extended once you're here.
Well, I suppose, yes, it's quite handy if it's just a handful, isn't it?
Well, absolutely, yeah. So, you know, one of the first jobs I actually went to was I was cleaning this down floor flat window, and I heard some groaning from behind a pulled curtain window.
You heard some groaning? Was he getting his extension out, was he?
No, I don't think so. It was just the wife shouting at her husband, I think,
right.
at him because he ate the dishes.
He wiped the dishes?
I don't know what he did with them.
Was he using his sponge?
Was he what?
Was he using his sponge that he should use on a window?
No. This is what I heard from behind the window. I was cleaning, you see.
Oh, you're cleaning it, and there was this groaning.
Yeah, from behind, inside the flat, you see. And I thought it was something else, but no, it wasn't. It was just, then all of a sudden there was a shout, "I cleaned those dishes." So obviously he was moaning about that. I don't know whether they heard me outside, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, obviously you can't say anything, can you? You know what I mean? Because you're just cleaning windows, aren't you?
Well, absolutely. You know, things can be misread, you know.
Well, they could be, yeah. I mean, you know, obviously Gemma Jane Brooks wants her windows done and asking how much they are. Matthew John says, how long does your pole have to... Oh, I told you that one already. Penny Warwick says, how well do students absorb information? Matthew John says, do you teach your students how to get it hard before you wipe? Gemma Jane Brooks says, does Dick come in...
Let me start with answering the first one. The first one is...
I'll come back with this one from Gemma in a minute.
Right, let's answer your first question.
Okay.
Do our students absorb the information? Yes, they do, like a sponge.
Well, that's good because you know that's they take it in. So, an hour and a half. How can you keep them watching a film about sponges for an hour and a half? That must make it quite interesting. What do you do with the sponge? Dress it up or something?
No, they watch it gladly because the alternative is watching another video on the other side of the world with George Formby.
Oh dear! And are these special sponges? They cost a lot of money. Or are they just ones you get from Proper Job or somewhere?
No, these are special ones. I get them imported.
Oh, they're imported. Where they come from? Taiwan?
No, Isle of Wight.
They come from the Isle of Wight. What's so special about these sponges then?
Well, because they grow naturally, you see.
Oh, these are sponges that actually grow.
Yeah, of course they are. There's a sponge farm over there.
Oh, he's got a sponge farm. Well, is that like a tree of sponges, is it?
Yeah, well, it's a great friend of mine who owns it.
And what's his name?
Bob.
Bob. Well, and his second name meant sponge, is it?
No, his name's Robert Winkle.
Robert Winkle. And he sells sponges.
Yes, yeah.
And
very special sponges. These ones have been through a very specific, shall we call it, way. Well, I don't know. I don't really know the ins and outs of it, but they're picked, you see, off the sponge tree.
Yeah.
And then they're taken to this lab, and they're put through all various kinds of tests.
Okay.
And if they pass these tests, they get shipped over to me. You see.
Yeah.
By ferry.
Wow. And how many does he send you?
About a dozen a week, I think. I've got contractors, a dozen a week.
Wow. And are they very dear?
They're £3.99 each.
Oh, that's not too bad, is it?
No, that's not too bad at all, you see, because he's a relative, you see.
And how much do you charge to actually clean windows on a house?
Well, it depends how many there are and how big the panes are.
Well, yeah, I suppose it does, yeah.
A standard, like, excuse me. Oh, God. It's stuck in my throat a bit.
You haven't got a bit of sponge in there, have you?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, do you eat them as well?
No. They're just bits of sponge flying around all over the place.
All right. What, you're actually cleaning windows as I'm speaking to you, are you?
No, I got caught in the fan.
You got caught in the fan?
No, the sponge got caught in the fan.
All right. Well, is it very hot there? You got a fan on? Or is it just somebody standing in the corner saying, Dick, you're great?
No, it is quite warm here, you see, because I live in a sort of glorified caravan type place.
All right, okay. So you've got heaters on and stuff like that?
No, I don't need a heater in here, you see, because it's like an underground heating sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
Because there's the hot water pipes that go through from, I don't really understand it, over to this house, you see.
Right.
And I get all the warmth from that up from there, and it gets quite warm in here. So I have a fan. So when I get back, from the School of Excellence, I just chuck a couple of sponges down on the ground in the corner there, so they could dry out in this specially adapted like pit. And one bounced up and hit the fan, and bits of it come flying out.
Yeah, that's and I've heard you're a bit of a naturist, so you strip off when you get home.
Well, yeah, but that would be telling, wouldn't it? I'm not divulging that.
Well, absolutely. Well, nobody cleans your windows when you're in anyway, do they?
No. Who needs to? Somebody else cleaner's windows. That doesn't sound right, does it?
Gemma Jane Brooks wants to know, does Dick come in the morning? If so, I'd have him round every week.
Well, that all depends.
Penny Warwick says, does he have square pants? And
I have round ones.
You have round ones? Oh, all right, that's all right then. Yeah. And Gemma says, Robert Winkle, the Dick Sponger grower, was having trouble with the squatters. Did you hear about that? Robert Winkle, the Dick Sponge grower, was having trouble with the squatters.
Squatters.
Well, what are they? Are these squatters? Are these actually squatters, or are they squatters actually doing things in his garden, maybe near the trees? Do you know what I mean?
No, we don't have any problems with squatters. Squirrels have problems with them.
Oh, squirrels! What, they eat the sponges?
Yeah, they like the sponge. They do.
Do they? Well, it doesn't taste of anything, does it? Have you ever tried to eat one?
Well, no, I haven't tried to eat one. I bit of one accidentally.
Have you? What did you think it was? A Farley Rusk?
No, it's just a bit of sponge. Like I said, because when I chopped it down, bits of it flew, and I was yawning, and a couple of bits went into my mouth.
Oh dear!
You'll never guess what it tasted like.
What's it taste like? Cardboard.
Chicken.
Really? Your sponges taste like chicken?
Yeah.
Really?
That's strange, isn't it?
Well, that's amazing. I mean, what does he feed these trees that grow sponges on? What, Bob the Winkle man?
I really no idea. He said that's a trade secret. He said, you know, I would have to stop you supplying you with these sponges.
Maybe it's chicken manure.
It may well be. I don't know. I really don't know, and I wouldn't like to.
Well, it's a trade secret, I expect, isn't it? Really. Well, I mean, I know that
it's the only one in Europe. He may even be the only one in the world.
Does he supply other people, just you?
I think so, yeah.
All right.
I think so. Can't be sure.
Matthew John asks a question. How many nude people have you watched through the bungalow windows?
I've seen several.
Have you taken an iron with you, just in case, you know?
Taken an iron?
Yeah, well, in case you want to iron any wrinkles out or anything.
Oh, right. I thought you meant golf. If I taken an iron.
No. Obviously.
Iron, 2 iron, or 3 iron.
So you're cleaning some windows on a bungalow because you won't go any higher than that, and you won't have your pole in your hand because obviously obviously you don't want to get arrested. No, obviously you're not doing anything high on a bungalow, are you? It's all low stuff, isn't it? So it's only a couple of steps on a step ladder.
Well, that's right. Yeah, I'm only a small person, you see.
Yeah. So you're at the window and you've got your sponge that tastes like chicken, and you're sponging the window. Then you get your thing out, and you scrape. Get your thing out and scrape it across the window.
I get my extension out and I fasten the sponge onto the end. Then I push it up and down. See the window.
Oh dear. But what, you push it up and down? What, the sponge or your squidgy thing?
Well, obviously I push the extension with the squidgy, with the sponge.
Well, you don't need an extension on a bungalow, do you? You're just bragging now. You have to get your extension out on a bungalow.
No, well, they do have lofts, you see. You know, so you got.
Oh yeah, they do, don't they? On a roof, don't they? That's true.
Yeah. So that's the only way to clean those, you know. Then I sent one of the lads up there, you see, with a windscreen wiper type thing, and he.
Is that off a car? Is it? What car design is it?
Well, whatever car's available.
Whatever car's available. Then you just take the wipers off it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's quite a good idea.
Well, you don't have to pay for them then, do we?
Yeah, absolutely. But you could get caught. It's damage, isn't it?
No, I put them back afterwards.
Oh, right. Well, that's not so bad then, is it? Matthew John says...
I get away with that, you see, because when I put them back, I put a little advert piece of paper, you see, behind it.
Saying Dick's Cleaning.
Yeah, Dick Weener's Cleaning Services.
Wow. And do you get much
extension supplied?
Do you get much business from that?
Yeah, I get quite a bit of business.
Do you?
But
wow.
I don't do it, but my students do. I mean, I take 17 students last week, and I've got 24 this week.
Blimey, all learning window cleaning. They're obviously not all from your area, are they? Otherwise you'd be out of business, wouldn't you, Dick?
No, that's right. They're from the south of England.
Do you get any from Pakistan and New York and Africa and places like that?
They're in the south of England.
Well, you might have an international reputation for your window cleaning service, Dick.
Well, I may well have, you know. Some people like clean windows. They may travel a long way. You might travel business or work or whatever, and they may say, when you come to England, you want to look up Dick Weener. He's got full extensions and sponges at your disposal
that you can eat that taste like chicken. I mean, Matthew John says, why did you decide to teach people to clean windows? Was it to keep the Weener name alive?
Well, yeah, you know, it's to keep it going, you know, because the thing is, you know, in this day and age, what with this COVID-19 or whatever you call it.
Well, yeah, because a lot of people wouldn't have you in their house. You don't go inside, do you?
No, don't go inside. No. Everything's done on the outside.
Yeah. Well, that's quite safe then. They just look at you through the glass, don't they?
Yeah, you see, they see my extension and they just close the window straight away.
When you get your extension out, they close the window and run away.
No, they just go to the other side of the house, don't they?
Well, yeah, but I mean, have they ever asked you to window clean naked?
No, don't get that. That's vulgar, that is.
Oh yeah, I suppose it is, isn't it, Dick?
Naked? No.
And Kath Culliford is crying because she says it's brilliant what she listened to. She's never heard a guest like it. Gemma Jane Brooks says these sponges that taste like chicken are what most vegan foods are made from.
They probably are.
I didn't know that. Did you?
I mean, because, excuse me. Well, maybe they are because I can't see how his farm can. He's farming these sponges. How just me, if I only order like 12 or 17 a week, how he can keep going. So he must, send them off somewhere else.
Well,
so
how many?
They might be turned into something.
How many sponge-growing trees has he got?
Oh, he's got an orchard.
Oh wow! Well, he's probably selling them to places for vegetarian food then.
He could well do, yeah. Naturally grown sponges that taste like chicken. Yeah.
Well, that's immense, isn't it?
Well, that is. That's probably.
Penny Warwick wants to know: have you ever got it caught?
Have I ever got it caught? Well, my extension, you mean? I've had it shut in a window before.
Have you? That must have been terrible.
It was. It snapped off at the top, didn't it?
Oh, blimey, that sounds terribly painful.
Well, it was to my pocket because I had to go out and buy another one.
Well, yeah. So you lost money on that job.
I did. Yeah, I did lose money, but I ain't going back there again. They're horrible. They were.
Is this you're cleaning? You're training everything. Is it open to men and women, or is it just men?
No, women can go as well. They don't stay very long.
Why is that?
Well, I don't know. Ask women. I don't know. I mean, It's just maybe they feel it's sexist or something. I don't know. But
window cleaning sexist? I don't know. It'll do anything, can't they?
Well, they could do. I mean, I can't remember ever seeing a woman window cleaning.
Really?
There must be a reason why.
Matthew John says you must be exhausted with all these students. That's a lot of dick. And Matthew John says, do you get any window lickers?
I get a lot of Mick Jaggers, yeah.
You get a lot of Mick Jaggers?
Yeah, that's what we call the window lickers.
Oh, what, a Mick Jagger?
Yeah.
Why is it called Mick Jagger?
Because when they stick their lips to a window, they look like they've got Mick Jagger lips.
Oh, yeah, of course they do, yes. Penny just asked a question I asked, actually. Can women do it?
Well, I suppose they could do if they wanted to.
Do they need... They would have to get, extensions as well, wouldn't they?
No, I think basically it may even be something simple like... Because I've had one or two turn up and they've stayed in there and out, and they've just gone.
Have they?
Just left,
Oh, they've just gone.
And that maybe because they're seen as just majority of people are guys, you see.
Right.
And maybe they don't like it. I don't know.
It's very strange, isn't it? Haven't you actually asked them?
Well, they said no comment, and they just go.
Ah.
I don't know why.
Is there good money in window cleaning, is it?
It can be very good money, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Sometimes you get paid to piss off. So.
Gemma Jane Brooks says, apparently she must be in the know here, and she must know her window cleaners because she says Dick Weener's rival is Willie Anaconda from Birmingham.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Yeah, Willie Anaconda. He's apparently very popular.
Yeah, so I understand, but I got one thing up on him.
What you got up on him? What you got up on him?
I use 100% natural tools.
Your natural what?
Tools.
Oh, you got a natural tool. He hasn't. Is there unnatural? Are they?
Oh yeah, he's a bit genetically enhanced, so I understand.
Oh right, so he's like the GM crop of window cleaning.
Yeah, so he uses those sort of sponges and.
Really?
No, but, yeah. That's
well, don't they? They can stain those ones, can't they?
My tools are fully natural.
Your tool's natural, yeah. Theirs are not, and I suppose it leaves a smear, doesn't it?
Well, it does leave a smear, you know, if they're using unnatural stuff. I did try it one time, you know, because they're a lot cheaper, you see, and I tried it, and it smeared the windows terribly. So I only used the proper chicken-tasted sponges from the farming.
Right.
The Isle of Wight.
Well, Gemma seems to know a lot about your rival, Willie Anaconda, because she says he only works for buns. I don't know what that means.
No, nor do I. Well, he's welcome. He just works for buns. I work for money. You know, putting buns, working with buns, don't put buns on the table, do they?
Oh, no. You can't buy much with a bun, can you?
No. Maybe an oven.
I mean, yeah, I suppose it is. I mean, you must have been very tempted when you've been out there window cleaning, when you've got women wandering around in the house in their night dress or whatever, or wandering around with hardly anything on, and that. It must have been very tempting for you, wasn't it, Dick?
No, not recently.
Not recently. It has happened then.
Well, some years ago that was. But
oh wow!
Like I say, I mean, I don't go out doing them now. You know, I just coordinate. But,
I see.
Yeah. So I know the temptations that are. You see.
Yeah.
So before they go out, they have to hand me their phones, so they can't take pictures and things like that.
Oh right, yeah.
Well, you know, also this week, you know, it's been a bit. Well, let's say, not the usual. I mean, they've been over to a little estate. It's an old people's estate, you know, been cleaning the windows there.
Yeah.
So anything they see through the windows and that.
What do you mean? They need counselling after it?
Well, let's say some of them come back, and they come back and they say, right, that's it. I'm going down the pub. I'm finished now. I'm going down the pub.
He's obviously traumatised by what he's seen.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's two of them.
What, you've had two in a week do that?
No, only yesterday.
Wow, you had two yesterday that went to old people's home and were traumatised and went to the pub.
Well, yeah. They could only stay there until 10 o'clock. They went there at 3 in the afternoon.
Blimey. They must have finished early.
They did finish early. Well, they didn't finish. They left the windows half clean, didn't they?
Well, I suppose they must have had a bit of a shock.
Well, they did. They saw this old couple rolling around on the floor, and that was it. They come running away and went straight down the pub.
Well, if they're inside, and there's a window between them, and it doesn't matter, does it?
No, but they looked at them in a funny way.
They looked a funny way.
And then they beckoned them to come in.
Oh right, They wanted to join. They wanted him to join in.
Yeah.
Was he a bit shy?
Well, I don't know about that, but he certainly ran down to the pub, and he'd been there since 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He didn't leave until closing time.
Wow.
He had to be carried out. So, I mean,
God, that's unbelievable. Matthew John says, "Do you use the hard rubber, or do you prefer it soft? Do you prefer the soft?"
Well, in the warmer weather and that, it's nice and hard, but in the colder weather, it does get rather soft. I use the softer ones
Well, I should think in the winter it gets quite soft anyway, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it does get quite soft, and it gets, soft and floppy, and it's difficult to squeeze the windows with it.
Oh dear. Oh God. Gemma says he don't want none unless you've got buns, hun. Penny Warwick, do you need chemical stimulants to get the job done?
No, all natural stimulants.
So your window cleaners don't need Viagra or anything, no?
No. Just use fully natural grease, to grease the poles to get it to stand on it.
Well, that's useful. And a bit of WD-40 doesn't go amiss, does it?
No, that's not natural, is it?
Well, no, that's true. Well, what do you get then? Just a bit of goose fat or something then, and slap it on.
Yeah, well, not goose fat. We use duck.
Oh well, obviously. I mean, hypothetically, I thought it might be goose fat, but it's duck fat. Yeah. So do you get that from a local farmer?
No, I get it from the local butcher.
Oh right. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's handy, isn't it?
Well, it is handy. Yeah.
It makes everything glide a lot better, doesn't it?
Well, it makes your hand slide up the pole so you can put it up.
Gemma Jane Brooks says, I'm amazed Dick still has a business, as I've heard he only comes once. I thought you went back to people, but you don't.
I don't know. It's like I used to years ago, but now I'm teaching in my school of excellence. It's my students.
Oh, yes.
I go out now and then to keep an eye on them and coordinate them, you see.
Yeah.
So,
and do they all behave themselves?
Well, from what I've seen, yeah, but when my back's turned, I don't know. I haven't had any people complain.
Well, that's good.
But mind you, there is a digit out on my telephone number, which I've got to rectify.
Oh, you've got a digit out on your phone number, so they can't get hold of you?
No, evidently not.
Well, they can't ring you anyway. You've got their phones, haven't you?
Well, they can't. No, the customer.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah.
So, because they just because where I am now, it's all local. They just come in, or they could book online, you see.
All right. Is that, when they want to book in, how often do they book? Do they book every week for a wash down the rub?
No, they book, well, twice a month, normally.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they want me to come twice a month. So, they want me to...
Well, that's not too bad, is it? I suppose because windows get quite dirty, so... it can get you can't see out of them properly, can you? So you need them to be clean.
Well, that's right. I mean, sometimes I get complaints, but then again, I say to them, look, the outside of the window is clean, then the inside is not my responsibility. Whatever you get up to in there, it's your responsibility. So
slip of words there.
Clean.
Matthew John says, I do wonder if some Mick Jaggers started on them and they run off to the pub. Gemma Jane Brooks says, do they take Viagra so they have something to hang the bucket on? Penny Warwick is crying, and Gemma Jane Brooks says they have to take it with plenty of water. If not, and it gets stuck, then they get a stiff neck.
You got some strange listeners, haven't you?
Sorry?
You got some strange listeners.
No, I know. Well, they're interested in your cleaning capabilities, aren't they?
Well, they could come and join my Weener School of Excellence, can't they? Window Cleaning School of Excellence.
Well, that's true.
I'll be quite happy to enroll them.
What about the people that just buy a bucket and don't do what you're doing and just go and clean windows? Are they like scum of the earth, are they, or what?
No, they're not scum of the earth. They're just the others.
The others.
Yes, the others. We don't associate with the others.
Oh, right. So if the others were in a pub, you wouldn't speak to them?
No. We wouldn't speak to them at all. You can normally tell who the others are.
Right. And do you all wear uniforms or do you not?
Oh, yeah. Well, not uniform. It depends. In the winter months, we got what you call them, a sweatshirt type things, polo neck shirts and overalls.
Do you put your poles in those special pole socks?
No, it's just, they got Dick Weener's essential window cleaning on the front and on the back.
Oh, right. Well, that's good. Bit of advertising.
Yeah, and on the summer ones, on the back there, got Dick Weener's window cleaning. No pole is hard enough.
Oh dear. And Penny Warwick says, is it more tiring as you get older? I don't know quite what she means by that. Clean windows, I presume. And Gemma Brooks says, I have a bucket and available for work.
Well, I'll send you the address after this interview, if you like.
It sounds an intensive amount of training, 3 months to go and clean windows.
Well, it is. Like I say, it's all about the first 2 weeks is all about learning about the sponge. So that's where it can get a little boring, unless you really, really want to be specialised.
Unless you're into sponges.
Sorry?
Unless you're into sponges, then it won't be boring, will it? A bit like Train Spotters, really, I suppose.
Sorry, I thought you said into spongage. I thought you was coming up to something sexual then for a minute.
Well, I suppose the sponge
like being rubbed all over by a chicken tasting sponge.
No, that was last. No. I lost my train of thought there. I was, obviously sponges. It comes down to like Train Spotters, don't they? They like trains, so they can watch loads and loads of films about trains. If you're really into your window cleaning, you're really into your sponges, aren't you? So you would sit there for a long time on YouTube looking at a sponge, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, there's a bit different than train spotting. Trains come by, sponges don't.
Well, no, that's true.
No good sponge spotting, is there?
No, well, I don't know. I mean, you might get an odd sponge, a rarity, a vintage sponge.
No, you get an occasional substandard sponge shipped over from the Isle of Wight.
What do you do with that? Send it back?
Well, yeah, because that tastes of squirrel.
All right. What does squirrel taste like then? I thought squirrel tastes like chicken.
No, I don't know. We should say it.
Well, have you tried eating a squirrel sponge?
No, that's just what we say. We don't know what squirrel tastes like.
Have you put hundreds of thousands on it and icing and all sorts, made it a cake?
What?
Have you put hundreds of thousands on it and icing and made it a sponge cake?
No, why would I do something that's stupid?
I don't know. I thought I'd ask.
Used for cleaning windows.
Yeah. Gemma says that if she comes and works with you because she's got a bucket and is available, she can only clean downstairs as she's scared of heights.
Well, yeah, that's what I only do. You see, or did. I just did bungalows and first floor flats because I'm scared of heights. You see, it's weird, isn't it? Being a window cleaner or what?
Well, that's when you fell off your dumper truck, wasn't it?
Yeah, when I was 7 years old, I fell off that and thought, and I don't like anything higher than I can step off without hurting myself.
Yeah. Well,
but these young lads, they keep their pole straight up there.
I bet they do. Yeah, they're straight. They can extend it as far as they want, really, can't they?
Yeah, giving the old windows a good old rub.
Yeah, wash and rub. Yeah, absolutely. Matthew asked if Gemma takes Viagra because she'd need that probably if she's going to go window cleaning. And Matthew said, "Do they learn how to come twice a month in the training, or do they expect more from your students, or do you expect more from your students?" And Gemma says, "Does Dick wipe the window ledges when he's finished?"
Well, of course, the window ledges are cleaned.
Well, yeah, you can't leave them. You can't leave them dirty, can you?
Oh, but they've got to retract the poles first. Then they can clean the window ledges. You see, because that's what the sponge is on. It's on the stick pole. When you bring it down, you then clean the sponge to clean the window ledges. You see, because we've got to be very careful.
Do they have to get really tired before their extension goes down?
Do they what? Sorry.
When they're cleaning, when they've cleaned a lot, do they have to wait until they're quite tired and exhausted before their extension goes down?
No, they just get straight down and they just put it away.
And how do you get on in the winter? It must be freezing.
Yeah, well, it is difficult to get the poles up then, you see.
Well, yeah, I can imagine it is.
You got to, a bit of warm water or something like that and just pour it on there, and then you can bring it up. But you got to put a little bit of duck grease on there so you can extend it.
So it glides in your hand.
Well, that's it, because your hands get really cold, and if you're not careful, they can freeze to the pole.
Oh, my God, that'd be terrible, wouldn't it? You'd have to go to hospital. Have you ever been taken to hospital with your pole in your hand?
No, never. Never. Because I was clever, you see. I didn't do that. I never did that. Because, I wore gloves.
All right. Well, that's quite an advantage. Do you have to wear face masks and things like that when you're around people's houses?
Well, we don't actually go in, so you don't need face masks.
Oh,
on the
no,
outside,
that's true. But what about when they pay you?
Well, they just slip it in an envelope and they just stick it through the inside of the post. Well,
Is it one of those brown envelopes?
No, they're too small.
Gemma says, I'm hoping Dick gets rid of cobwebs as it's been a while. And Penny Warwick says, is there a fire you can warm it if you're cold?
I'm sure there would be, but there'd be no point, would there? Because
I suppose you could sit in the van and hold your pole, couldn't you, until you've thawed out, and then you get some thermal gloves and get some duck grease on it, and I'm sure you can get out and get it up quite easy.
Well, yeah, but then it sticks to the frozen window, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? And that that then leaves a mess. So well,
that's it. You try and retract your pole after it's stuck to a frozen window.
Yeah, it's not easy, that, is it?
It's not. I tell you. Sometimes I've cracked a few windows trying to get it back down.
I bet you have. Yeah, I bet you have. And obviously, it being warm is very important when you're doing it, isn't it? If you're cold, then it's not much fun, is it? Really?
Well, I don't mind doing it in the cooler months. It's just the really, really cold when it's cold and windy or something like that, because it just won't extend then, you see. So that's when I have to warm it up a little bit. But I normally use thermal gloves, you see.
Yeah.
And then pull it up and down and that until the frost comes off of it. Then I can extend it up to its full height.
Yeah, well, it's good when you can do that. Gemma says heated seats should warm Dick up, and she says she thinks I might have a headache. I have a lot of tears of laughter.
I can't think why. I'm just explaining my job.
I know. Well, it's a very interesting, and obviously, I would probably say you're a key worker, aren't you? So when we had lockdown, you were still a key worker, weren't you? You still had to go around and give it a good wash and rub.
Well, of course I had to go out and clean people's windows, because otherwise how could they see out?
Well, that's true. And obviously you probably were very busy because people were locked up, weren't they?
They were. I wouldn't say locked up. I mean, they were home, weren't they?
Did your prices go up in lockdown?
Yeah, and the poles. Because we had to do, there was one block of flats I had to do. Well, I didn't do it, but a couple of my students did it. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm listening.
Thought you got away then. Thought you went to go and ring up a rival company.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not phoning the company in Birmingham. No, the Anacondas or whatever they are. Willie.
Right. Yeah, so it was a big block of flats we had to do in somewhere in Surrey. I think it was Woking. That's the place here. What a strange place that is. Anyway, so
it's a suburb of London, Woking, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. It certainly looked like it when you look around and see all the people there, all different ethnic minorities.
Yeah,
all sorts. Polish as well. They're all right, actually. Not that the others aren't, but the Polish people, they wanted to, they wanted to know how to join. So I got 5 of them coming with me next week.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah, because they like the pole.
Yeah, obviously. Well, obviously, yes, and you know, I can imagine that. Have you actually cleaned windows at anyone's famous?
No.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember anyone famous at all. But it's difficult to know who's famous and who ain't now.
Well, that's true.
You know, sometimes when you watch the TV, it's celebrity this, celebrity that. You have a look and you say, who the hell are you? I've never seen you before in my life.
Yeah.
It's strange, it really is. Sometimes they're just famous because they're famous. They don't have to do anything. You know, they haven't climbed Mount Everest or be the first person on Venus or even shaved a goat underneath its udder before, so I don't know.
Is that class as being famous, shaving a goat underneath the udders?
Well, that's surviving, yeah.
Well, I've never shaved a goat underneath its udders, have you?
No, I've never heard of anybody doing it before either.
So when you go on holiday, abroad, do you go window cleaning still, like the hotel?
No. But it's like any other sort of job. You know, you're on holiday, and you can pick all the wrong things. You know, you say like, "Oh, that window cleaner didn't clean a very good job of that one, did he?"
Yeah.
That one obviously ain't got a long enough pole extension to get up around those edges.
I bet you like to take your pole on holiday with you, don't you?
No, I don't do things like that. I don't take my work with me. It's not physically. It's just that you can't get it out of your mind. You know, you're away, and you're in a hotel or something. It's as much as Mrs. Weener can do to bloody hold me back from going down.
I bet it is. You say you got a Mrs. Weener, have you? So you got a wife Weener.
Yeah, of course I've got a Mrs. Weener, but she stays at home most of the time because she don't want anything to do with the business.
I bet she don't know. What does she do?
She's a hairdresser.
Oh, right. Well, she got Weener hair.
No, she ain't got Weener hair. She uses proper shampoo.
Penny Warwick says, would you give the Queen a free clean?
No.
And Gemma Jane Brooks says, Dick Weener got married recently to a lovely lady called Anne Summers.
No, that's not a name at all.
No, it's not, is it? It's what's her first name? Mrs. So it's Mrs. Weener.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I'm not telling you her proper name.
It's Dick married to Mrs. Dick.
Mrs. Dick Weener.
Yeah, Mrs. Dick Weener.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah. You're not taking the mickey out my name now.
Oh, no, I'm not. Honestly, I'm not. I'm really grateful for you ringing tonight. I think that you've illuminated the history and knowledge of actually cleaning windows, which clearly there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to it than just cleaning windows. Obviously, Penny Warwick says, does she cut your hair? Does Dick Weener cut your hair?
Yeah, of course, Mrs. Weener cuts my hair. She's a hairdresser.
Oh, of course. Well, that's good. Well, that's good. Obviously, Matthew John says, has Dick ever fell off?
No, I've never fallen off for that because I don't get up that high, do I?
Well, no. But what about if somebody wants you to go and clean a house and you can't get up there? You can't get it up?
But if I can't get my pole up the side of the building, well, I'll have to go back and get another one, won't I?
Have you got various size poles, have you?
Oh, yeah, I've got 5 different size poles. They're all telescopic, but they only go up a certain distance.
But I mean, after a while, when it goes up and it extends fully, if you're really going a long way up, you can lose control of it, can't you?
Well, that's it. It has a mind of its own then, and it starts squirting water everywhere.
Oh, dear. I'll tell you, I could talk to you for hours, Dick Weener. It's quite interesting. Penny says, we're going to have to wrap it up in a minute. Penny says, can you go through a back entrance? Oh,
no, I never go go through the back door, because that's when you start worrying, when people say, come round the back entrance and I'll give you your money.
Yeah.
No, because that always means something nasty, that does.
Really?
I had a nasty experience that in my younger days. Yeah, I went round the back door, and they offered me in, and they give me this pouch, whatever, and they say, you know, you've done such a good job and that sort of thing, right? Said, we don't have a lot of money, but you know, we're old, but have a drink on us.
Yeah.
So I took the envelope back to the office and that with the other lads, and I said, lads, looks like we're going out to the pub. And I opened it up, and there was a tea bag in there.
A tea bag?
Yeah.
You cleaned the windows and they gave you a tea bag?
Yeah.
Well, that's a bit off, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was it out of date?
I don't know. Tea bags don't have a date on it, does it?
Well, I suppose it don't. But you couldn't drink tea that's 20 years old, though, could you?
I don't know. Never know if anybody ever kept the tea bag that long.
Well,
It might be
I
like
probably
mine.
know a few people.
Better after years, you know.
Well, yeah, I suppose it. I mean, you could almost have a specialised vintage tea bag, couldn't you? Then
you could do, but the difficult thing there is proving it.
Yeah, well, that's true. That is very true, because there's no sell by date on the tea bag, is there?
No stamp, no nothing.
Gemma says he has to send a young Weener if he can't reach or gets tired. Matthew John says, have you ever been sent down the dirt road? And Gemma Jane Brooks says, I'm off for a sausage sandwich. And Matthew John says, amazing show and thanks for the laughs. Dick. You have been amazing. We've run well over time tonight, but it doesn't matter, does it? You know, we give you a bit of advertising for your window cleaning business, and I'm sure anyone listening will be very keen to take it up and handle your pole.
I'm sure they would. But there's only a select few of students that can handle my poles.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm sure it has to be handled very carefully.
Well, it does. Otherwise, if you damage the end of it, the sponge won't connect properly.
Well, no, that's true. And obviously you can't have that, because it all needs to work properly, doesn't it, for it to do its job.
That's right. Otherwise, it doesn't squirt water properly, does it?
That's the crux of it, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, you've been amazing, Dick Weener.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
And it's been enlightening, and I'm sure people listening know more about window cleaning now than they did when you first come on.
Well, they probably do. I don't know, but you know, the good thing is though that these people have been listening. Whenever they see window cleaners about, you know, when there's cleaning the neighbours' windows or someone up the street, they'll be able to shout out, do you work for Dick?
Yeah, they can. And they might say, yes, we do. Maybe next time we speak to you, you could have your pole in your hand while you're talking to us, while you're actually at it.
No, I don't think so. Because I only teach at the moment.
Oh yeah. You don't do the practical. No.
No, not anymore. No, I've had my years of doing that. So no, it's time.
Well, I should think you're worn out from handling your extension all that time, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I really am.
I know. I can understand that. I'll tell you.
It's been a lot of years.
Yeah. You have been absolutely amazing tonight, Dick. And you know, thank you very much for sharing your wisdom of all your years of window cleaning. It's been fascinating. Gemma Brooks says, if I need Dick, I'll get in touch. And I'm sure we'll speak to you in the not too distant future.
Yes, I'm sure we will. I'll let you know how my latest batch of students are getting on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, maybe, you know, once you've trained them and all sorts in handling your extensions and all sorts, maybe we can talk to one handling your extension.
Well, yeah, you could talk to him on the job, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could be on the job holding your extension, and you could be talking to us.
Yeah, he could be describing exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. I think our audience would be very, very interested in what's actually going on.
Yeah, I think they possibly could.
Yeah.
But for now, one would have to say tatty bye and.
Yes, it's been a pleasure, and thank you very much for ringing us and all sorts. And it's lovely to have you join the Inview.
Oh, that's fine. So I'll say tatty bye for now. Then.
Yes, we will speak to each other again soon. Thank you very much.
Yeah, he's looking at the window to you. Goodbye.
Yes. I'll look through the square one. I'll speak to you soon. Bye. Bye. Oh dear. What can I say? What a show. And we've gone well over time, but that's what happens on this show. What amazing guests on tonight. I mean, I know more about window clean now than I ever did, I can tell you. And Penny says, great show, love the wig, bye. Actually, this is my real hair. I've just dyed it all sorts of colours. Got some bottles. I hope you all enjoyed it tonight. It's been really, really good fun. This will go out onto my Facebook wall, and it's on YouTube as well. So if you want to share it or whatever, it's been really good tonight. Really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for being part of it. And we'll do it all again next week, 7 o'clock, where the Inview comes alive with more guests and more surprising people. Have a fantastic week out there, and be safe, and just be you.